Yeah, I like these ones. These ones handy. The little jelly man. Hey Jamie, have a good one, buddy. My what? They're attached with a belly hanging out. I was just saying I'm going to have to not try follow the group this morning and just basic from the start. Yeah, I mean,
to take the win. He's the defending champion from the MyWhoosh Championships in 2025 in Category 6. It's the first time we've seen him at the front of the race. Really, really interesting. I would suggest we keep our eyes peeled for him today. Santeri Krickström did a great race, but couldn't quite hold off Rademacher. Zimael, 2 in 3rd place. Brilliant racing. Krickström also picked up the points in the sprint competition. Emil Ivanov picked up huge points in the climbing competition on the way to defend that polka dot jersey.
Ivanov overall leading that points competition in the climbs from Quickstrom. But that battle is going to come on. Going to keep an eye on Ola Warren today. He's only, only 11 points clear of Fager in that sprint competition overall. So that is close when these riders are out there scoring points. Let's see what happens as we move onwards here. So the riders up and away, out from the riders' pens here on the stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championship for 2026. the tagline of the mountain judges could well be the case as Andre Corbani just pushes up there as we see Super Mario on the move today. So it looks like he has engaged his full game mode.
Speedy.
He's on his way out indeed. Thank you, Mario, for the message. It really made me laugh. He's got in touch via Instagram, as a number of people have done. Actually, as lots of you have done. Thank you, everybody.
I love the
who's
fact
been
that
in
he's
touch.
watching back the race footage after the race with his kids.
It is indeed. And I think the whole of the family should be very, very proud of him for what he's achieved so far and what our riders have done. So Super Mario at the moment off the front, hopefully throwing the odd banana skin out behind him to try and stop the riders behind, maybe pulling him back too close. I know that the thing that's something slightly different.
Another family here, but riding side by side. Andre Corbani in the Category 6 race. Arthur Corbani in the Category 4 race. Both of them riding really strongly.
Yeah, really, really good. And I love the fact that they're lined up in that same pain cave together, the master and the apprentice. But how long will it be? Well, I think it's already happened. The apprentice is now faster than the master. That is just the way of the world. But I tell you something, we will see how it goes today because they're, tortoise and hare. Let's see who ends up there at the finish, smiling the most. Hopefully they're both smiling. Now, Super Mario is currently nearly 10 seconds down the road at the moment.
There's no look at them. It's like, leave him be, let him go. Jonathan Fager has got a new hairdo for the day.
He has. It's not shaved it all off. This is in tribute to and in inspiration from Tadej Pogacar.
I know.
Absolute
He's going to fly today. He's aiming to channel the Poggy on the mountain.
Can I just say, it has radically changed what Jonathan Fager looks like. I had to take a double check we've got the right camera there on the right person. Absolutely brilliant. And do you know what I love? Jonathan Fager, we saw him absolutely giving it everything. His pain face was incredible coming into the line. He's battling it out here for the overall for stage wins. And yet he's still got that sense of humor in there.
Yes, it's brilliant.
To dye the hair. We still see new posters, new pictures into Pain Caves. If you want to join us, there's still time to join us in the Pain Cave because the Pain Cave is easy. It's in the Zoom. Just make sure your name matches. Put it in landscape mode. You could be joining us. You never know. We might one day see the pain face of our GCC leader, Matt Smithson, who at the moment is leading that competition ahead of Joshua Kellengard.
Oh, so close.
We're not talking hours. We're not talking minutes. We're talking
seconds, 23 of them, separating Smithson from Callangad in that GCC competition.
Yep. And I think that it's going to run to the line. Anyone has a bad day now, and that's going to be telling. Bart Smithson at the moment, just in his own private battle in 4th and 5th places with Al Raiki as they move onwards, as we move across into our Masters competition. Now, we said at the start of this race, this was a big competition. It's still absolutely huge.
Yeah, it is.
The front of the race being led by Orlando Montoya, the BMC Spinergy squad in the Masters competition. It's still not massive, 154. And behind him, if we look at riders inside 10 minutes, that's 7 of them.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? And the competition will go to the wire, I think, and today will be really instrumental. Can Montoya keep hold of that jersey? Well, another rider looking to keep hold of the jersey today is Santiago Londano in that young rider's jersey, the one with the white sleeves. The gap, though, he's established a really strong gap here, 20 minutes clear of barrier.
He did. He had a good day yesterday. The gap has opened up now. Barrier in 2nd place, realistically, the only rider I think who's now in a position to challenge. But remember, of course, these positions can change. If somebody has a bad day at the office, you can lose a lot of time on a mountain if you don't have a good day. Or if you come back into that time trial and you've discovered that in the preceding 48 hours, your legs have gone to sleep. We're in with Ola Warren at the moment, the rider currently leading in that sprints competition. I'm going to just do a little correction. I've got to make sure I read the right numbers on the side here. The points gap is 18 points.
It is. It's really, really good. Ola Warren doing a phenomenal job in that competition. The level Kevlar rider, 51 points to Jonathan Fager's 33. But I think that Jonathan Fager's been doing a little job in terms of leading Ola Warren out because whilst they're on a different level team, they're both on the levels crew.
Yes. I was going to say, at what point do we say that Ola Warren is the Don of the Warren? clan in terms of sprinting? Because they're all good.
They are all
Yeah.
really good sprinters. Ola Warren, Joanna Warren, and Joel Warren, all really, really good sprinters. There's something in the genes.
Yeah, legs usually. Right, let's head out on to the slopes already because we're currently at 3.5 kilometers. We're going to reach the 5.1k before this starts going uphill. Just going to do a little bit of housekeeping first of all before we go a little bit any further down through the race field, and that is going to be a quick note for our riders. If you are unaware, if you've not maybe read the manual, if you've forgotten the race manual, just a quick reminder to keep your eyes on weigh-ins and weigh-in times, and also to remember that when we come out of tomorrow and we go into the time trial, everybody will automatically be given a time trial bike. You don't need to select it yourself.
Look at that, Nathan Craig's in a MyWhoosh jersey with his beanie on at the moment.
Bhutan was yesterday.
I know, Bhutan, you get a yellow beanie. Do you get a beanie in Colombia? Well, Nathan's got one himself
Coffee
today.
beans.
Coffee beans is what you get in Colombia. The congratulations going into the work being done amongst each other here. Absolutely fabulous to see the support across this community and the small battles going on. I know Simon Llewellyn and Nathan Craig have been having a few battles out there. I've read Nathan's blog. But Jonathan Fager doing a brilliant job at the front of the race, also having battles out there. And I think, Jonathan, there's going to be some battles out there today. I really hope you're up for it. Efren Mamba on the screen as well. Zimil there too. Calderon, who's right in the mix as well.
Yep.
This is going to be a good day.
It is. Jan Grady's in there. Good to see him on our screens. We try and name check everybody on the way through, but always tricky. Efren Mamba, I think one rider to keep an eye on. He's third in the competition in terms of the GCC. He's currently lying about 9 minutes behind Callan Gadden Smithson, but he could challenge. It's certainly possible if he has a good day on the climbs today. Will it be Mamba's day today? We will find out. Okay, let's move across because we're going to get ready to set away our riders in our next race category. They're down on the start line now. In terms of the overall, Lucas Petter is the rider leading out category 5, but behind him, Junior Alberto Pens moved up and really is challenging. I think Spratt in the mix, Kendall in the mix, Cadabone, Petter, Loxley. I think there's still room for manoeuvre, even though there's quite big time gaps.
Yeah, those 3 riders were away yesterday on stage 4. It's going to be interesting to see whether they go away again today. Petter, Pens and Spratt. Spratt just just couldn't hold the wheels as they coming into the finish, and there were a few seconds between them. But it was a great race out there between those 3 yesterday. Luke Kendall did a great job, Cadabona as well. Petter and Loxley, there's some great names out there and there's some great competition going on, but this is still a massive race field.
Yeah, I've just been keeping my eye on Simon Patzel for the Level Avengers, mostly because I like the name Level Avengers. And Simon Patzel, one of our regular riders, he's just behind Martin Vita. You can actually see them on your screens. You see that time gap at the moment. It's sub 30 seconds. This could be they could have their own private battle on this climb on the slopes. If they're that close together now, it's literally going to come down to who is in front of who on this climb, who's in front of who in the time trial, and the final stage, because it could run to that. Nicholas Spratt couldn't hold us. Nicholas Spratt has been doing what he does best, I think, which is
picking up the points in the climbing competition
and riding smart to do that as well. I think it makes such a difference, doesn't it? If you can ride with your head and not just your heart, you need heart as well. Spratt ahead of Gruvescu, Andre Gruvescu, the nearest challenger in that mountain climbing competition. In terms of the sprints, the big wins really for Gregos Kubiak on the day, 8 points. But let's put that into perspective. In terms of the sprint competition, third place is Kendall at 23. Warren has got 40 points in second, and it's 42 to Mazzara. So a long way to go.
There is a long way to go, but you know what? There are prizes out there for being the sprint winner on the day,
yes,
as well as the overall competition in the stage race. So good work, good job.
Yes, well done, mate. Yeah, well done, Gregos.
The final seconds countdown for category 5 before they leave the start pen, and away they go out into Colombia. 57.9 kilometers of racing ahead of them. I'm going to say this slowly: 1,660 9 meters of elevation in that 57.9 kilometers. This is uphill nearly the whole way. And look, it's Macedo. He looks like he's riding around the park.
Hello, everyone.
He is.
Bom dia, everybody. Bom dia, bom dia, bom dia, bom dia. Fantastic to see everybody there. I love the fact he's gone outside and he's doing the fast start as well. Hello, Kez. Hello, everybody. Look at this. This is brilliant. You can just see making the most of the fresh air and the sunshine out there. And the fan club are with him as well. And he's gone from the front as well. This time, every day, we've seen something different from João Macedo.
Can I just say, he absolutely proves that it is possible to live stream into the MyWhoosh Championships from anywhere. There's a family party picnic going on, and he's racing the MyWhoosh Championships.
I wonder if it's family birthday.
Chapeau.
Oh, fantastic. Do you know what? Every day he's done this. He's gone off the front. We've had something entertaining from him every day. And this is what we love about cycling. It's not all about our elite riders. I know certainly on the podcast we've had elite riders in the interviews in the run so far, but my goodness me, are we having a hit list of riders developed that we want to talk to across all of our race categories. And I think there's a lot of people putting themselves forward to be the first in line when we start covering the Sunday race clubs rather than the MyWhoosh Championships. That is for sure. What a great community. Now, let's take a little bit of a run through some of the rest of the categories. Team competition, Emma, virtual velocity ahead of Whoosh You Were Here. Still one of the best names going ever.
It is.
And that time gap at the moment between the riders, 9 minutes. But between Whoosh You Were Here and Road Brazil's ZTBR, what is that,
27 seconds. I know, it's brilliant. And I'll tell you something, the time gaps between the Crankmasters and BMC5 up not big either. So it is going to be really, really interesting out there. And of course, it's the top 7 teams overall on that Teams GC that are going to be into that prize money.
And 14 teams still in contention. 14 teams still racing. Now let's go to our GCC leaders, the rider from the Philippines, but riding in the GCC locality. It is Leningrad Catabona. Now, Catabona has done a great job every day of really being in the right place at the right time. His gap is not massive.
Not in a MyWhoosh jersey, but in a Philippines jersey instead. Nice.
The Philippines is a big cycling nation. I know whenever we've covered events from there on commentary, and that can be everything from the XCE mountain bike competition right the way through to the competition in MyWhoosh. We know that it is incredible. Now,
talking about incredible, can I just say, Lucas Petter, 52 seconds clear in the Masters competition from Luke Kendall. So this one is an incredible competition that's probably going to go down to the wire as well, because they're both really high on GC.
Fourth, I think Kendall is fourth, and I think Petter first overall.
Yeah.
Behind, though, there's a lot of battles. Have you seen how close it is between Mule and Mikulek?
I know.
It's just like, what, 20 seconds? Easy maths for that. Then behind it, sort of at the 21, 23, 25 minute mark, you've got 5 riders: Horn, Aravena, Gonzalez, and Pfeiffer. It's going to run in that older age category. In our younger age category, the gap from first to second is bigger.
Yes, it is.
Rojas in second place to Andre Gravesco, but Gravesco having a fantastic run.
He is indeed. And 2 minutes 53, the gap back to Rojas from the Level Vikings. The Cycle District 5 rider, Andre Gravescu, in those white sleeves, whilst one of the riders in the pack just trying to indicate that they're tired. Who would expect you to be tired on stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships? 8 days, 7 stages. Tomorrow is a rest day. I'll tell you something, you can sleep all day, but today you've got to do 57.9 kilometers in Colombia.
Yes, in with Maxime Fabre, one of our riders who we do see on camera very regularly indeed. And we're going to have a look at our riders as well. How's everybody doing today? Is everybody happy? Is everybody ready for the climb? That's the question.
Did you really ask that? Kristen Kolzansky is one of the riders I know will be looking forward to the
Plenty of people happy.
Luke Kendall seems to be very keen on the climb there. Luke Allport still up in his warm-up jersey.
Yeah, Luke Kendall's come on, bring it on. Everyone is.
I think a number of them are, actually. I'm liking Alex Lark is sporting the MyWhoosh Championship kit from last year. retro nearly, Alex, because once you complete 2026, you should get some more kit.
Yeah, classic. Junior Silver just up there giving us a wave as well, just above Alex there, above that retro kit. I like the idea
is
it's retro.
shining behind Machado. I mean, look at that.
You're just
Indoors,
jealous
outdoors.
You're just jealous of being outdoors. That's all it is. Just because we've been in the studio for I can't remember how many hours over the last how many days.
I know, but do you know what? It is great. It is
Yeah.
absolutely fabulous to be alongside you in the commentary box, bringing you the MyWhoosh Championships over the 8 days of competition. Absolutely fabulous. And don't think you're going to get rid of us on the rest day, because we're here for the Sunday Race Club as well.
I knew you were going to remind me of that at some point during the day today. We are indeed the Sunday Race Club. Rolls onwards. It really is an indomitable machine, and some of our riders who are racers on our screens as well. So Mathieu Seppel, Maxime Fabre, along with Nicole Savic, Rod Loxley, and Villa Petta on our screens. 5 riders who today will have to face the mountains, and 5 very different camera shots as well of all these riders in action. And that's one of the things I like. It's not just the same head-on shot every time. We get that
People
nice
are moving
spread.
the cameras around as well, which is really quite nice. But I have to say, I am loving the outdoor view out of Villa Petta's window that we've seen every day this week. It's been wonderful.
It has,
calming, tranquil.
That's one camera you don't want to see moved, isn't it?
No, I don't. I just like that to stay there forever. But Nick Spratt right on the front here at the 2.9 kilometre mark. 2.9 kilometre marker. It was doing 2.9 watts per kilo. He quickly rolls back into the bunch at the 4.4 kilometre marker. They're heading towards the base of the climb. The base of the climb at the 5.1k mark. It is coming up soon for Category 5. Category 6 are already on the slopes. The climb banner comes at the 10.6 kilometre marker. And at the moment, Esteban Montoya is on the front of the pack. And
riders scattered now all the way down the slopes. The leaders have gone round the first 2, if not 3 corners, and are well on the way up this climb. There are riders just making the way up the very lower slopes in Category 6. Category 5 will be there very shortly indeed. We are going to move across to Category 4, though, where we saw absolutely everything being given by Aidan Sinclair. A performance really reminiscent of the performances we've seen. In fact, almost carbon copy of the amount of effort we see him put in each and every Sunday on the Sunday Race Club that we were talking about earlier on. So Sunday Race Club, where we've seen Aidan Sinclair come really into form. And Aidan Sinclair, we've got to remember, is a rider who was riding for the junior national team not all that long ago. So it's that phrase, I'm sorry, class is class.
Yes, it is indeed. And, you know, it is really interesting to see and watch. But, you know, the category, can I just say, the Category 4 race is so close. It's ridiculous. 48 seconds separating the top 9 riders at the moment. And if I scroll back down through the GC, you know, yes, there are some big time gaps, but there are also some very small time gaps amongst themselves. Falana and Rinborg in 29th and 30th, 21 seconds separating those two on GC at the moment. And Giacomo Natari is only 5 seconds back on Eric Rimborg. That's 3 riders who are going to be battling it out there to see who can make the top 30.
And a bit further down, you've got riders like Marvin Angarita, who took a stage win earlier on in the race, 41st position at the moment, about 30 minutes down on GC. Aidan Sinclair taking that stage win, as we said, from a fast finish in Pano Alalusa, making Aidan work for that win. Pano taking second place, and it was Matteo Pino taking away 3rd place. A rider I've got my eye on today is Pino. On this climbing terrain. Maximum points in the sprints competition yesterday, taking away the prizes. Aidan Sinclair, Niall Batty, maximum points yesterday. Really interesting.
Sinclair ran him really close to the wire in terms of those points, though. It was a really interesting battle between the two of them in the King of the Mountains competition. Sinclair in the polka dots because he has the most amount of points overall, even though Batty picked up the most amount of points yesterday.
Yep, those early points in those early climbs have certainly suited. But what will happen once we go on to the big climbs here today? So it's time to go racing. We are going to set away Category 4 onto the slopes of Columbia. They've got a flat run-in for 5 kilometers, and then the climbing starts. And realistically, even with those 2 flatter steps part way up, this is going to be brutal. We have got 57.9 kilometers facing our riders in terms of distance, in terms of vertical ascent, 1,669 meters. Huge.
Yes. It is indeed. Well, Hassan Sultan on the front of the pack at the moment, coming out of the pen. Noel Batty is right towards the front of the group with Caro, Restrepo, Schneider is in there, Rusumaki, Corbani, and Garita is in the mix. But it is indeed Hassan Sultan dialing it off the front. You've got to get your airtime somewhere. And if your airtime is at the front of the race, why not? Nelson Schneider doing the chasing here in category 4 as the rest of the pack sort of wide across the road going, okay, off you go then. Why not? Sultan and Snyder, the two riders, just pushing on here at the 500-meter marker. They're heading towards the base of the climb. It's the first checkpoint today. It starts at the 5.1-kilometer marker. Ungara, Sinclair. Look at the jerseys Aidan Sinclair has. And I'll tell you something. Yeah, I know, Aidan, you sent me a message saying you're pretty fried today, but undoubtedly you will indeed keep fighting because you've got 4 jerseys to defend today. Big job, big ask.
And I think that is the big concern, isn't it, for any of our riders who really emptied the tank to the point of exhaustion yesterday, is how well have they recovered from yesterday to today. You can see our young rider as well is Aidan Sinclair. He meets that under 23 category. I think for me, he is a rider who has embraced a lot of the technological changes, because I have been banging on about his handlebars for a long time, but I actually know how wide those bars are now. The UCI would have apoplexy at them, believe me. Having sat in on a technical discussion with the UCI, they are uber now. I think from memory, and I still can't quite believe it, it's about 15 centimeters between the brake lever hoods.
Well, can I just say, he's got a great team around him. The Level Golden 14-2, Gonzalez, Sinclair, Svort, and Rinborg. Be interesting to see how much help they can give him out there to defend those jerseys. Well, talking about jerseys, let's take a look at the GCC competition, because Francis Pino is wearing that GCC jersey out there. Clinton Cirillo and Hassan Sultan, the other riders in that competition.
Indeed, Pino doing a great job of defending that jersey. That gap still not insurmountable. It's 8 minutes 47, I think. Yeah, 8:47 as the riders leave the pens at the moment, and this group still relatively together. Yes, one rider's off the front, one off the back, but realistically, are we expecting that to change dramatically? Not really. Let's go into our category 4 Masters competition. Andrew Rushworth still holding that race lead. It's been tenuous for a while. I mean, it's not been the most secure of leads, but Rushworth's still holding that from Schneider. 1 minute 38, the difference.
Yes, it is indeed. It is rather close out there. But Rushworth doing a great job. Again, part and parcel of that Level Golden. There are 3 Level Golden teams in Category 4, and he's part and parcel of that community. Well, Category 6 were the first riders out of the pen 23 minutes ago, and they're coming up to the top of the climb. They've got 1,000 meters to go on the first climb here of 3 in Colombia today.
Let's just remind you of where the mountain climbing competition is at the moment. Emil Ivanov has been really on the front of this. He's been very difficult to beat indeed. The Level Carbon rider at the moment with 91 points in the bank. Santeri Quickstrom scored more points yesterday, but still at 65 points, and he's guarding a slender lead over Gacek Zimiel, who we've just seen on our screens, in fact, just a little earlier on 61 points. So 4 points separating Quickstrom in second from Zimiel in third. But the big gap is up in front, up to Ivanov, who will be looking to make this his. There are still quite a number of points out there. I mean, a quick reminder, today alone, there are 55 points. But it's very difficult to see now anybody beating Ivanov, just because he doesn't even need to score in every climb, and he doesn't need to win every climb. And in fact, he doesn't even need to win probably the majority of the climbs. As long as he's there or thereabouts now into our race finish, he should be holding that lead. In fact, there's Gacek Zimiel, the rider just down below Jonathan Feliga. And Zimiel, that rider, he's only 4 places off Quickstrom.
Yes, he is indeed. And the 4 riders in this Category 6 race pushing on.
So the riders just on the
can't hear
move
the
of
music
this
though, no.
climb. We just see Mosquera
So
just
clever.
to the left there in person. We've got Fager and Warren. And then, but on the climb, it's Vergara who's got the gap now. He now goes even off. I'm watching to see what the response is. Who's going? It's Zimiel who's going up behind. You can just see this is a view of Vergara, then even off, then Zimiel, then Kaligaskiski, Kenneth Cruz. The group is a big group on the front here. This is not broken maybe as much as I would have thought it would do as they come up this climb. Vergara is leading. Ivanov wants this. And I think maybe just looking for, as you said, Emma, the on the day points prize as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what is available. And this is the first climb of 3 today where those points are available. Vergara, Ivanov, Zimiel, Kalangad, Mamba, Kickstrom now starting to move up in the pack as well behind, and Montoya. Not wanting, well, riders not wanting the gaps to go, because you can see the stretch on the pack behind. And the danger also is not just going for the banner, but the fact that by riders going for the banner, it creates a break in the group. Well, Vergara goes through in one, the first rider underneath the banner at the top of the steepest of the 3 climbs today here in Colombia. Ivanov getting pushed by Zimiel right to the line there. Mamba, Kalangad all wanting to pick up points. But the points total that Ivanov has at the moment is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it's huge. I really, as I was just saying, I just can't see how he's going to be beaten. I know there's a lot of points left, but he's always there or thereabouts as well. Even if he's not taking top spot, he's taking second, like we just seen.
There's still 74 points available between now and the end of the MyWhoosh Championships in the climbing competition. It is possible, statistically.
In my humble opinion, not probable.
Well, Zimiel and Kickstrom, 2nd and 3rd in that competition, they are very, very tight in that King of the Mountains competition, 70 points to 71. But Ivanov now with 103 points tally in that climbing competition. I think the polka dots are on his back for a while. The Category 6 race, however, just taking a look, 29 riders in that group. And it's going to be interesting to see whether it stays together.
So let's move across down to our race start as we moved into the upper half of our race categories. Yu Yun Lin with the race lead overall. This is the slenderest of margins. Both Shakila and Skierski behind, less than 2 seconds separating them from our race leader. In fact, you can see that this for me is almost the outlier. It's sort of the exception that proves the rule. It isn't sort of 5 or 10. This is a big spread of riders. And again, lots of riders further down. Now, we saw Carlos Manarelli, the rider in 21st place, really battling on you yesterday. But he put in a great ride. Eric van der Zandt, though, he's 1 second behind him on GC. 21st to 22nd, 1 second.
2 minutes separate the top 27 riders in Category 3. It is really, really close out there. And, well, I think there's a lot of riders out there today who are going to be battling for those minutes and seconds to really see if they can shift themselves up on that GC.
And after over 7 hours of riding, in fact, over 8 hours of riding for the last rider on the road, it is just over 8 hours. You know, we're still seeing time gaps of 1, 2, 3 minutes, even at the biggest in places. And I think that's really incredible. Carlos Manarelli taking away the win, propelling himself up into 21st place, but not enough to take himself up into the top 10 yesterday. Yu Yun Lin defending his overall lead in 2nd place in the race, and Room back and starting to come to the fore as we come into the mountains. Christopher Morgan, the man who seems to make a habit of breaking away and taking sprint points, almost simultaneously taking away 14 points from the overall win in the point scores on the day, as was Manarelli in the climbs competition.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because Morgan still has competition in that sprint competition, because Mason Rocker is on 45 points. Manarelli moves himself up into 2nd in that climbing competition behind Fabio Hulhorst. But Ergatan Dar is on 50 points as well. So that's 7 points separating the top 3 in the climbing competition. Keep your eyes peeled for those names today, because there are 55 points on offer.
Time to go racing in our anti-penultimate category here today. The riders heading off on to the course. Who will take away the top spot? Who will climb to the summit of today's course in first place? Who's going to be sitting in the key seats? Who's going to be watching from the gallery?
Who's going to start proposing that Christopher Morgan goes off the front every single time?
Maybe he's just been, watching Joao Magedo in Category 5.
Maybe he just likes a fast start. Maybe it's the end of his warm-up. Who knows? But Christopher Morgan off the front of the pack right now. Wahoo Kickr's doing the chasing, because I tell you something, I think they've realised that Christopher Morgan can do a breakaway.
You don't let Morgan go down the road anymore. Why would you now, given what he's done time and time again? He's just like giving away points when we know points are dollars.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because where is Christopher Morgan on GC? He's 17th. Yeah. He's 28 seconds back. Can I just say that again?
It's still dangerous.
He's 17th. He's 28 seconds back. There is still nothing, absolutely nothing in the GC in Category 3 at the moment. You got to chase it down.
And I'm not going to give it. No, this is not giving any spoilers from the women's race if you haven't watched it already. But you can get into kilometre 50 today on this climb of 58. You're inside the last 10K, and you can still find yourself, even if you're going with the leaders there, you could still lose minutes in those last 10K. And we saw that happen earlier today for riders. It can happen in the men's race. Now, we are in with our GCC leader. That is Dorman K. Ellis. Ellis at the moment, his race time, 6.5 hours racing under Ellis's wheels, or on his clock on the bike at the moment, taking the lead and holding that lead in the GCC. Ellis putting in some really good performances, really impressed by his riding. I think he's showing just what a consistent rider he is.
Yes, he is indeed. And in that Masters competition, we then go through and we drop in with Antti Ponni, the Ride Club Finland rider. His gap in terms of leading that Masters competition, 1 minute 26 seconds on Martin Konda. It's then a big gap back to Franken Almeida. He's over 16 seconds back. So the competition between Konda and Ponni for that Masters competition, really strong.
And again, this is an illustration of how close it is on GC, because they're separated. Ponni on 14th place overall, Konda in 26th place overall.
Well, talking about tight competitions, Junyu Lin in the gold jersey, also underneath, he's got the white sleeves of the young rider jersey. That's a 13-second gap back to second place, Osorio, a 14-second gap back to third place, Hjulhorst, a 34-second gap back to fourth place, Ponzi. So 34 seconds separate those riders on the should I say, the young riders competition. Talking about tight at the top, the team competition here is amazing. Suffer together, are still suffering together in the top spot. They're suffering because it's only 19 seconds back to the BMC3 Elite, 23 seconds back to Peak Power Racing, 32 seconds back to Peak Power Racing 3A, 32 seconds back to the Level Vikings. So 32 seconds separate the top 5 teams in that team competition. And it's close behind.
Yep, top 7 teams within just over a minute of each other. And then behind them, Cycling District Red to Ride Club Finland, they're separated. It's only a matter of a couple of minutes. So then, it's only another few more minutes really to what's up next, when you think that the team time is added, your top 3 finishers added together. Now, we've seen Category 6 go over the top of the very first climb, the Alta de Aguila climb. That's the checkpoint for the top of the climb is at 10.6k, although it does rise a little bit after that. Less than 200 meters to go, and now Nicholas Spratt stretches his legs once again to take away even more points in the mountains competition, because at the moment he's leading that King of the Mountains competition in Category 5. So at the moment, maximum points underneath that checkpoint for Nicholas Spratt that will extend his lead at the top of the standings. And when we talk about insurmountable leads, I haven't done the maths yet with how many points are left, but I think with those points, Nicholas Spratt now doesn't need to ride another mountains classification point. He just needs to finish the race to win.
There are 74 points available.
And I make it, he's now on 119, and Grevescu is going to be on 45, I think.
No, he's on 104 versus 45. The addition to the 15 has already happened. So technically, again, statistically, it is possible, but Spratt would have to score no more points.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. I'm glad we got your maths on the go.
Highly improbable, but it is statistically possible.
Whilst we are constantly going from the probable to the possible, what is a certainty is in category 3. On the right-hand side of your screen, we have got Christopher Morgan on the move. Behind him, Wahoo Kickr is there. And Zach Patterson looks like he's decided that he's going to animate the racing and get himself some screen time here in category 3. We're always chasing the racing here on the coverage, and Patterson at the moment with Quiros and Morgan on the move.
Well, just before we go into category 3 in a bit more detail, at that point in the race at the top of climb 1, 38 riders in contention in category 5.
Okay. How many? Say again.
38.
What? What were you doing on the climb, guys? Were you just having a chat?
Well,
There's still loads.
I know.
That is massive.
It is, but it was a bigger pack coming out of the pen. Category 3 riders on your screen at the moment from Karlstrom, Fell and Butcher on the top there. Yeah, the blue woad is working again for Patrick Karlstrom. I know.
These blue gummy bears or whatever they are.
I know, but it's working. It is indeed. He's keeping him rocking. He's keeping him rolling. And you can see the riders on his feet. Oh, Luis Andrade has gone to the beach today.
Yeah, well, so we've seen other riders heading off into the outdoors. Now, appropriately, Luis Andrade has done that virtually. Good day to everybody. Thank you to everyone, to Jose Oviedo, Wahoo Kickr, Ivo Shaw, Jerry Pippin, and Jean Yannicki, Carmen and Co. Thank you so much for the views into the Pain Cave, gentlemen. It is much, much appreciated. It really just does give an insight into what everybody is doing, and it really does make our avatars far more human.
It does, and it is great to see everybody, and I love looking into A, the setups, and B, what they've got going on outside the windows, whether it's brilliant sunshine like it is in Quiros's Pain Cave at the moment, or the greenery blowing outside Yannicki's window yet again. It's breezy where Jean Yannicki lives, you know. It's been a little bit breezy every day we've been in with him.
Yeah, it has indeed. So category 3 just continuing to push on as we go down into category 2 on to the start line. Now, Mr. X100 moving in to take away top spot, the defending champion in category 2 in the MyWhoosh Championship in race lead. Vidal Mayer, the man of the breakaway, took away second place with a fast chasing, hard chasing Nathan Guerra, closing the gaps down. Another sort of blocky set of results here today, and not the decisive day necessarily that we thought, but certainly I think probably at the moment you could say 2/3 of the race field are still in touch.
Yeah, but there
was a lot of
movement yesterday in this, and you know, there's still a lot of very close racing here in category 2, and I think today is going to be really instrumental. I think we've got to see some real big pushes today. I think we're going to try and see breakaway attacks in category 2, and they're probably going to try over and over and over again until they get the right group that are allowed to go away with the right people in it. You know, we saw that starting to play out in some of the earlier stages. And for me, this is really exciting. Vidal Mayer took the win yesterday from X100, from Nathan Guerra, who was closing and closing fast. Mayer swept up those sprint points. SS sprinted up the mountains to take the climb points. Let's utilize the words that are in my mouth.
It's indeed the art of all good commentary. So, as our stage winner, Vidal Mayer, and his breakaway companion, Mr. X100, took 1 and 2. Guerra coming through to chase from that bunch behind, trying to close down those time gaps. Mr. X100 was sitting in second place in there. We'll go into a little bit more detail what happened in those top positions as we go through the race categories. The last rider on the road at the moment, just shy of 8 hours of racing in Category 2. The fastest race time cumulative so far, 6 hours, 17 minutes. So still plenty of time in the saddle for Category 2, our penultimate category, who are about to head out onto the race route here. Heading into and onto and up Colombian climbs for today's stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships for 2026. A quick reminder, it is 57.9 kilometers in distance, 1,669 meters of elevation, 3 climbs, 1 category 1 climb, 2 category or beyond categorization climbs, 2 sprints on the way. And one thing that we haven't mentioned so far is that these riders, when they get to the top, are really going to have to be attentive, because from the climb checkpoint to the finishing line, it is only 300 meters.
It's really, really close.
Really tight.
Really, really close. So category 2 roll out. I think I need some more coffee. I've got 2 coffee cups lined up here in the studio, both of them empty. I might need a refill. If anybody could bring a coffee to the studio, that would be fantastic. Well, David Nitko's not going to do that job for me. It'd be very impressive if David Nitko could arrange for a coffee to be sent to me right now. But he can arrange for his legs to go well on this climb day, and I think he's going to be right in the mix. There's a number of really strong riders in this peloton, and I'll tell you, it just shows you how close it is. The team competition at the moment, 49 seconds separating the top 5 teams in category 2. The goats are in the top spot at the moment, 2.9 seconds ahead of the UAE clan team.
Just say that again for anyone who'd missed that. This is exactly how far?
2.9 seconds separate the top 2 teams in category 2. Team 3, Vuelta Panda, are 20 seconds back. Team 4, Team Balbina, are 44 seconds back. And the Peloton Phantoms, who are in 5th place, 49 seconds back. That could all change today. Michael Macedo on your screen at the moment, just disappearing off down the road and stretching his legs. Mare, SS, Betty, Trojanowski, Fournier and Bird on the front of the pack. What can you say? But when you've got the likes of those riders on the front, they're managing the group and making sure you don't go too far.
Yeah, pretty much. You got breakaway specialist Peter Malostik on the front of the peloton, Mr. X100 just at the back of the group here. Mr. X100 wearing 2 jerseys today, because underneath the golden jersey of our overall leader, 3 jerseys, it is the jersey of the GCC leader. So GCC leader, hailing from the GC area, racing in the locality, it is Mr. X100. He's also our Masters leader for those riders who are more senior in years.
Well, can I tell you, that competition is really close.
Brilliant, isn't it?
And Nathan Guerra is closing it down. He's lying in 2nd place, 19 seconds back. And let's not forget, we saw a fabulous earlier breakaway stage from Peter Milostic. He's lying in 3rd in that competition in the Team Balbina squad. And I wouldn't discount another breakaway from him.
Now we are going to show you the rider who scored the most points on yesterday's mountain climbing stages. That is Niall Batty in category 4. He took away maximum points last time. He's going to take away maximum points this time as he comes up to the banner here. So he's going to head to the line, first line done. Niall Batty with a 12-second lead. I'm just looking in terms of the points competition in category 4. Aidan Sinclair is leading this, but Batty clearly thinks Sinclair is vulnerable today, because he saw the effort that Sinclair put in. I think Batty's come in with a plan to let some of those early points go, but now that we're going into the big mountains, take away the big wins, the big point scores. There's 55 points on offer today. I didn't see Sinclair in here, and is Sinclair now paying the price of his efforts yesterday, and he's choosing to let the sprint take place and back off the pace? We're going to see where he is.
I think it's really interesting. In the next 2 stages, there are 34 points still available in the climbing competition in the men. There are 55 points available today. You know, at some point, Aidan Sinclair has to make a choice. He holds the sprint jersey in category 4, you know, and he's in that competition. He is also obviously I'm just looking here. He's obviously in contention in the King of the Mountains competition, or was. He's holds the golden jersey, and he holds the white jersey of the young rider. At some point, you've got to make a decision as to where and what you're going to target.
Yep. So I think we're going to see what happens in the overall will affect that youth riders competition because and GCC, but the points-based competition, yeah, you've got to start making choices, and it gets things. 100% agree with you there, Emma. Now, Maciej Mendakowicz on our screens. Maciej clearly means business today. The sleeves are off. He's on short sleeves today. He's clearly going to be interested to see if he can shake this group up. He's on the front with Machado, with Fournier, Krasnich. We're seeing the moves being made here to shake up the racing. Machado on the front, on that gap. Gillo now sprints across towards Machado. Halen is not that far behind. I am really surprised to see the amount of work that's being done on the front, the amount of effort that is being put in on the very front of these packs, of this group coming in to the climb. And we have got such a big day ahead. Why are riders expending this energy? I think there's going to be a lot of people further back down these groups who suffer on the mountain, wondering why they went so hard, why there was so much going on in the race so early.
Yeah, well, there is indeed. And Jamie Cahill on your screens at the moment, just taking on board some hydration. Nicely tucked in the group around 23rd position. He's in the draft. He's got 3 chevrons. Right place, right time for him. Not off the front, but let's remember, you know, there's going to be a lot of, I'm thinking about the words I want to use, anxiety and adrenaline. Going on in the peloton at the moment, and team orders are team orders. You know, sending riders down the road who are in your team, who may be further down on GC, to protect people's positions in the peloton, or to protect riders who they know are strong today. Jakob Bjorklund on our screen, and we were just dropped into his pain cave. He's in the group here, nicely in the mix. You know, so again, another great rider. And one that could well be helping his teammate Nathan Guerra protect his position today.
Yeah, yes, full stop. What I love about this is there's so many possible permutations of tactics, so many possible options for the riders, and anything that they had planned. It's the old phrase, you know, any plan of action, any plan of battle goes out of the window with the first engagement with the enemy. Well, whatever plan you make, it could go out of the window in category 2 the moment you go off to start. Good to see Gal Yazbek. He's smiling here today. He is. He's got the green jersey on once again. Gal, one of our regulars on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. For a young rider, he's very experienced now. Yes. I put him in the experience zone because he rides really, really well. He's tactically astute. I don't think you often see young riders making daft moves. There's no word for it. They make daft moves. You know, they go for things out of youthful exuberance, even not.
I'm just jealous. I'd like some youthful exuberance, but. Matt's looking at me very strangely across the commentary box. But Category 1 are down in the pen as Gal Yazbek moves himself up to the front of the pack of Category 2. Category 1, well, Jason Osborne, the final boss, is bossing it now on the front of this. Ollie Jones in 2. Very, very consistent 1-2, those two.
Indeed, behind it all change, and I think we're going to have fun picking this apart in a little while on the as we go up the climbs. Looking further down through this race field, you can see it's super close. There's not huge gaps anywhere, but it is fractured. The longest time on course, 1 hour and 6 behind our leader, Jason Osborne. Jason Osborne's time for covering the course. The fastest rider, as you'd expect, being the leader of Category 1, 6 hours, 2 minutes. Now, in terms of stage wins, Jason Osborne taking away the win in our last stage, 25 seconds ahead of Ollie Jones, eking out a bit more gap. And then Jones just ahead of Stefan Van Als. Van Els chasing hard in that stage. He was looking good in yesterday's stage, I think, Van Els. And the fact that he had the power to sprint with Jones and push him all the way to the line said a lot. Jesper Paradines was the sprinter of the day on our sprint segments, taking away the maximum points in the sprint competition.
Yeah, still close though. Ollie Jones, 49 points. Pavel Skierski, 40 points in that competition. You've got to get up and over the climb to pick up any points in that competition today. That's going to be interesting. And Jason Osborne took those points in that King of the Mountains competition. Ruben Dont, the closest behind with 60 points.
Let's get our last wave of riders onto the course here in Colombia on stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championship. It's judgment day. It's judgment time. The mountain is our judge. You can be the jury watching, making your own decisions about who is looking good and who is starting to struggle as we move from our mountains into our rest day. It's going to be very telling as we come off the top of the mountain. The riders make the way off the top, but only, of course, because this is a virtual race. They only have to get from their pain cave onto whatever they're going to do to relax, whether it's their own private health spot, aka mum and dad's, for our riders, or whether that is they're going to be looked after by professionals. You never ever know. Ollie Jones at the moment, very professional in terms of his riding. Mr. Consistency himself,
Yes.
Ollie Jones. I mean, if ever there was a rider who has ridden to our expectations, Ollie Jones is he.
Yeah, he's riding and racing really well and on great form in the championships and those second places. Well, do you know what? Do you think Jason Osborne is riding along there in the golden jersey going, right, today's the day, I'll hand it to everybody? Or do you think he's riding along going, I'm used to hard racing, but my legs are a bit, ooh, who's going to exploit me? Who do I have to watch for? I'm going to have to try and make this work today.
I've got 2 scenarios for Jason Osborne in my head.
Have you?
I can't decide between them. Scenario 1. Scenario 1 is that Jason Osborne waits for his typical 1 hour to the finish. He's worked it back down the slopes and he goes at 1 hour to go. And he'll be in a breakaway for 1 hour. Scenario 2 is that we get to 5.11 kilometers. So basically the first 10 meters of the first time and Jason Osborne goes, right, here we go. It's a climb. And he rides from the start of climb 1 to the finish flat out.
Well,
I can't decide, but it might be one or the other.
We'll go back in with Cat 1 at the moment, but Christopher Morgan has done. He's gone off the front at the start, and he's still nearly off the front now as we head towards the first banner of the day in the Category 3 race. It is Manrelli who is the rider battling with him at the moment, and Manrelli now starting to go clear as he pushes towards the polka dot banner where the first set of climbing points are on offer today.
Indeed, Manarelli, the stage victor yesterday. On the stage, he took maximum mountain climbing points on the day. Currently looking good. Goes up and clear. Breakaway specialist Morgan, who hoovers up the sprint points, come behind him. Then you've got Hulhorst, but look at the group behind. It's a big group, but it is starting to fracture slightly at the back. Next rider over is going to be Ergatan Adar, the rider 3rd place in that climbs competition at the moment. So Hulhorst, the rider in 1st place, coming into this. It's interesting to see how this is going to play out because Manarelli taking maximum points. Morgan takes 12 behind Manarelli's 15. It's a 5-point gap from Manarelli to Hulhorst, and that means that the lead has changed at the top already.
Yes, it
so
has.
Far.
But you know what is really, really interesting out there? Those 3 riders clear with their 16 seconds at that point. One rider, Adar, pushing on to pick up those points in that climbing competition because he wants to stay in contention with Hulhorst and Manarelli. Then 32 riders in that group, 7 seconds back to another group of 5. There's still a lot of riders in that Category 3 pack as we just watched Jason Osborne. And you know what? He's having to do some work here because Hayden Pucker, Kaminsky, Kroll and Plantero are down the road. Hayden Pucker on the front, the rest of the pack now coming on and just closing this down. I think we just saw a push. I think we saw Pucker respond and Osborne cross over. Kaminsky on your screen. At the moment, part and parcel of the Alpha Jaw Space Cowboys crew. That team currently doing a fabulous job in terms of that team competition. They're in 2nd place behind the final bosses, 64 seconds back at the moment overall in that team competition. There's a bigger gap to ZDR2 behind them than there is to the final bosses ahead of them.
Yes, I can't help but hear the Alpha Jaw Space Cowboys and think of the Jamiroquai song.
Well, there we go.
It's a great tune. Love
yes, well, we'll let that play in your head.
There's a little earworm for you for the rest of the day. Sorry.
Whilst the Category 1 riders continue to move, they're at the 3.3 kilometre marker. Let's just remind you that that first climb comes at the 5.1k mark. It finishes with the banner at the 10.6 kilometre mark. We've got Category 6, 5, 4 and 3 over the top at the moment. Category 2 will be the next group on the way. In that Category 1 race, however, we've got a number of jerseys out there. Neil Fryatt is wearing one of them. He's in the Masters competition and he's in the blue sleeves.
And Neil with a slightly different camera shot of the pain cave here, but most importantly, a bit of air coming in through the open door now as the roller door on the garage just rolled up over Neil's head, the air blowing in, and that national champions jersey, the American champs stars and stripes on his back as we see a kick off the front. Michael Knudsen has gone hard off the front here, as has Alvarado. Quickly onto his wheels. They're wanting to establish a little bit of a gap at the moment. So Fryer certainly is going to be thinking about what he does from the ZDR squad here. But
interesting move.
Knudsen's so experienced.
And he's so strong when it comes to climbing. You know, part and parcel of that Team Abus Esports crew. He is a long distance racer. He loves a hard race and he loves a strong climb. In the youth competition, there's a real battle going on. Pavel Skierski is ahead of Lyndon Milostic by 21 seconds. We know they can both climb. They're both looking good on GC. That's going to be a battle.
Now, I know earlier in the stage race, I did say Lyndon Milostic, I think, came to the fore in the stage race in 2023. He didn't, but it was when he first rode, was on Sunday race, which was 2023. That's when we first saw him coming to the fore. But it does show you that for a young rider, he has been around a while. So definitely battling Pavel Sierski, a more recent addition to the Sunday race clubs and to racing on MyWhoosh. So Emma correct, me incorrect in on that point. But hey, it's not the first time. I'm sure it won't be the last time. Corrected by the professor to my left, as well as, of course, my colleague here in the commentary box. Don't forget, you can get in touch with us. You can get in touch with Emma. It's at biking_Emma. You can get in touch with me at Matt Facebook. And you can follow us online. But don't forget, make sure you give the riders a follow. Give them the support, them and the teams. Matthias Van He, give him a follow. Get to see what Matthias is up to at the moment. That is sitting in the bunch, not expending too much energy as they come towards this climb. Hiding that draft as long as you can. You can see that the watts and the top center of the screen are in green. And at the moment, nicely tucked in, as is Rick Van Herk. And you know that we wouldn't go to him until we passed the 5.1 kilometer marker. And it went uphill, Rick out of the saddle. Now, Rick has been riding a great race.
Yes.
I'm going to say that now. I've been very, very impressed with Rick's racing so far. I think it is one of those races where you've got to be consistent. He got a 10th place on stage when he's been hovering around about the top 20 or thereabouts for a lot of the stages. Today's climbing stage, well, can I just say this? I thought we were going to see Rick suffer yesterday. He didn't.
No.
He didn't have a great first climb stage on stage 2, but the big mountain stages, he had a good day.
Yeah, he did indeed.
He held position nicely.
I tell you, he's ahead of Michael Knudsen on GC at the moment, and that I think is going to be an interesting move. Jakob Dane is behind him, Christoph Kroll is behind him. You know, Rick
he's in
Van
good
Herk,
company.
He is in really, really good company. So going to be interesting to see how he does on today's stage. Dan Turek, the Alpha Jaw Space Cowboys, the team of which Dan Turek is part and parcel of, are having a brilliant race. Turek in the top 10 on GC. He's literally, you know, the GC is so close, but Vujasin, Turek and Kaminsky, the three riders from the Alpha Jaw Space Cowboys, along with Ollie Jones. Ollie Jones in second on GC, Vujasin on 8th, Turek in 9th and Kaminsky in 10th. All of those riders right up there.
They are. They're absolutely packing out those positions, and that's what makes those teams work well. Now, in with Lionel Vujasin at the moment, the rider that we had on the Inside the Race podcast earlier on. Don't forget you can listen to all of those back for even more. If you haven't heard enough of our voices by the time you get to the end of each day's racing, they're all going to be up. Well, they are all up, and you can look back on those as well.
Oh, take a look at this. This is category 2, and who's gone?
Ivan Newkey.
He has indeed. Newkey 7 seconds clear of the group in category 2 at the moment. Gorshank, SS, Betty, Turmerton, Kalman, Fee, Mendakowicz, all riders we would expect to be at the front of the group, looking to do some chasing. But at the moment, the UAE clan team, the strategy
yes, that is exactly what I was thinking.
Put Ivan Newkey up the climb.
Yeah, it's all about the team. So at the moment, team, let's just refresh your memories of that team competition in category 2. The leaders are the GOAT squad, Nico, Mayer, Ken, Miller and Ken, and they lost both Kens early on in this stage race. So it's down to Nico, Mayer and Miller. The UAE clan team, now this is the team of Newkey, SS, Miss X100, Phil Grace and Simon Walter. They are the team with the overall leader, and that is Mr. X100. So what have they done? They've taken the pressure off. They fired up Newkey. He's gone off the front on a climb that suits him. All these long climbs is going to suit Ivan Newkey. And he's gone on the front, and they don't need to chase, don't need to worry about it. And if Ivan Newkey gets himself a 5-minute lead here and goes off and takes away the overall win, well, you know, they're going to be really happy. But if it's not likely to happen, the teams are going to chase at that point. But the team that won't do the chasing is the team of Ivan Newkey. They get to sit back.
Because you know what? The team of Ivan Newkey is doing the chasing. SS has gone onto the front.
I don't think he's not chasing. He's just sitting at tempo.
I just saw him sit at 10 watts per kilo. Look at this. He's doing more.
But he's got mountain points to go for here, though.
I know.
That's what he needs
to try and defend that jersey. But his, you know, he's very well established in that competition. I think it's really interesting that he's sort of encouraging the riders behind to chase Newkey.
No. I think this is Newkey mopping up the points. I think they've said, go get the points, get the big points off the front in case SS doesn't get this, because you know, people can have a bad day. So guarantee that it's a big gap at the top. You know, these are big points coming: 15, 12, 10, 8 and 5 points coming to these riders. So if they mop up the points between them, it's job done. Maybe Newkey didn't think he had the kick to go when it wound up, so he went early. We will have to see. So at the moment, Newkey, SS, our top 2 riders from the UAE clan team, 15 and 12 points respectively. The Phantoms in 3rd place. That's Trujillo with 10 points. Gorshank of the Team Balbina in 4th with 8 points. So Gal Yazbek of the Peloton Phantoms, also since teammate of Trujillo, 5 points. So they all get added to our climbs competition in there. And now, Claire.
I'm just doing what I did yesterday and taking a look at the back of the pack.
Yeah.
Because that told me a lot yesterday. It's telling me a lot today as well. So 31 riders in the leading group in category 2. Damsgaard, Graves, Guerra, Nitko, Miller, Krasnich, Walter, all towards the back of the group, and so's X100.
And what did it tell you yesterday?
It told me that the riders who were trying to conserve as much energy as possible for the latter stage attacks all sat towards the back of the bunch on the first climb. They've done exactly the same again today.
But today our 3 climbs are separated by flat sections, not separate.
I love that. Sorry, SS has just come alongside Ivan Newkey, given him the thumbs up, said thank you, and carried on.
Yep.
Well, category 2 on the left-hand side of your screen, category 1 on the right-hand side of the screen. So big pushes on at the moment, but Stefan Van Els on the front of the category 1 pack, Yasin Jones, Power Pucker, Osborne all in there. Lyndon Milostic is in the mix as well. It's a big group, but we've started to see riders get shed out the back of that category 1 group.
So we can see our riders on to the climb here, making their way up here. We will have to see just what's going to happen here. Riders making their way up these slopes in Colombia. Category 2 over the first climb. Category 1 on the ascent of that first climb. However, behind we are watching to see what is going on. Okay, we are making our way up the climb here, taking the right-hand side. So with this, I think our production team now are going to excel themselves over the next few days of competition. This is all about the direction and the size and scale of the fans that are cooling our riders.
Standing by the
this
side
is
of
not
the
the
road
ones at the side of the road or the park cheering. These are the fans that they've got. 2 fans for Montoya here. Big bonus points for that. Bonus points for the height of the fan for Arago. Mac Lenador makes the top 5 fans here today because he's got it just discreetly tucked out of the way despite its size. Maxime Fabra's going for the old school big white fan, and that is how close can you get your fan to your face, Bryce?
You can actually see the fans moving around within the fan.
Yeah, so 5 of our big riders in terms of fan points here today, the non-existent but virtually in the heads of the production teams, top 5s today. They're searching for those fans. We do actually have a game which is about who has the best fan.
Well, we don't need a game at the moment because we've got 6 riders on the move here in the Category 1 race. Yasin, Jones and Churek are in the group. That's 3 riders from the Alpha Jaws squad. They've got company as well because that golden jersey is Osborne. Osborne has got company because Van Els is his teammate. And then we've got Ruben Don in the mix as well. And Don is having, can I just say, Don is having the best race I have seen him ride for a very, very long time. The MyWhoosh Championships, Ruben Don is just on form and he is on fire.
He is, but that pack behind, they're not losing much ground. It's breaking a little, and this is where it's dangerous. If you're like Skiski, who's down in 11th position at the moment, you need to move up. Fryer just holding the back of that group in 10th position. Skiski now dropping to 13th place as the scramble comes. If a big gap forms, it breaks in the middle. You've got to be the right side of that. If you are in a minority, you're 2 or 3 riders, and the gap goes and there's 10 riders in front, you're in trouble. If it goes 50-50, 8 in one, 8 in the other, you might be in a position to come back. If you've got the bulk of the riders with you, it's of advantage. But I think the pressure that's being applied on the front here, it's being ratcheted up. This is not just yanking on the pressure. This is being wound turn by turn by turn at the moment, pedal stroke by pedal stroke. And I think if you are the wrong side of a gap, it's going to be very difficult to come back. Now starting to see riders pushing up through this group. Skierski, for example, it's not long ago who was in 13th. He's now up in 6th place. He's been bouncing around the top there as we go in with Ricardo Panizza. The Ice Fest is on. He's up in with the group at the moment. It's reformed, but there are riders shed from the main group. We'll bring you to details of that as they go over the top of the climb.
Yeah, there are indeed riders in trouble at the moment. And Josh Harris, I'm just seeing, just getting back into the mix in the group and wanting to say a rider who moved up a lot on GC yesterday, very close to the top 10 now. Overall, Lionel Vuyasin doing a phenomenal job here. Vuyasin and the Alpha Jaw Space Cowboys really deciding that today is the day they're going to pack this as close as they can with all 4 of the riders from the team riding strongly throughout the championship so far. This is great work, and it is fabulous to see the Space Cowboys deciding that now is the time that they launch the space dust across the whole peloton and start climbing strongly here in Colombia. Van Els from the final bosses moves to the front, wanting to keep the pace strong. Osborne can cope with this. The question for me is, can Pucker and Skierski, because those 2 riders, I think today, are possibly the weaker links, and I can't believe I've just said that, in the team competition.
I can't believe you just said that either, but you did. It's down, it's recorded, it's out. And to be fair, I think when you're talking about weaker, we're talking about Category 1 riders. And
I'm not talking about weak riders.
No.
Just slightly weaker.
And it's on which bit of terrain, under which circumstances, how has that recovery done? Where is the pace? All our riders have their strengths. And we have to remember that if you are a bad Category 1 rider, you are still the best in the world. Can we
just say, yeah, these riders here are the best esports riders in their country.
In the pack here, we've got to bear in mind, when you look at esports racing in general, when we come to Sunday Race, when we come to the MyWhoosh Championships, you're talking about all 6 categories fitting into the top 50% of racing generally.
I know, it's absolutely
That's how
outstanding.
good it is. That is how packed categories 6 to 1 is here in the men's race. You've got the world champion in number 1, leading this out, looking to get the maximum points. But even if you are the last in category 6, you are still in the top half of people who even race cycling esports generally.
Not just ride it.
Not just ride, but actually race and race regularly. It is brutal. It's tough. So these are the cream of crop. They're the best of the best. So the differences don't need to be big to make a difference when you've got such fine increments between each rider.
Well, Jason Osborne picking up the points here as they go underneath the banner, and Cahill Power coming through with Van Elsvu, Yasin Milostic just pushing a nice little move from Linda Milostic there to come through and pick up some points in that competition. The young Australian rider coming through in third behind Cahill Power, Stefan Van Elsen, Ruben Dont, rounding out that points collection. Osborne's points tally goes up to 115. Dont's is at 65, Milostic at 51. It's an interesting race out there. 18 riders have made selection 1. Josh Harris got a bit of work to do just off the back of the group with Michael Knudsen and Mikael Plantro if they want to get back into the mix. But they've got a long flat section now before the climbing starts again. And when it does, the climbing is not as steep.
So let's run you through those 18 riders in that leading group at the moment. It's Jason Osborne in one, and then it is Power, Milostic, Van Elst, Dont, Vujasin, Kaminsky, Paradians, then Friant, Pedersen, Jones, Thrall, followed by Skierski, Turek, Dane, Pucker, Panisa, and at the moment, Hoyos. They are the riders in that lead group. Harris, Plantero, Knudsen and co. All the rest of the riders now distanced from the leading group. So today's going to be a really instrumental race here at the moment. Pavel Skierski just winding it up on the front here in category 1, not wanting to let riders to get back into the group. Let's take a little bit of a look because we are now at the midway stage of the MyWhoosh Championships at the overall competition in general classification. Let's start with category 6. We saw Jonathan Fager burying himself, chasing Michael Rademacher, the 2025 champion Rademacher, coming into our consciousness, coming to the fore at the right time. If you take the top 4 as being just about clear of Emil Ivanov, the climbs leader,
yeah,
those 4 are all looking strong. They're all scoring points and they're all absolutely on the money at the moment.
Yeah, Rademacher went up 5 points yesterday, 5 points, 5 places yesterday. Zimmel went up 3 places on GC as well from yesterday's performance. That put them all into the top 4. Even off Montoya, Corva, those 3 riders, you know, the gap is tiny. 34 seconds across the top 7 on a stage like we're going to see today is it's not insurmountable at all. In fact, you know, even Dylan Kennett at 128 back, that's not over yet either.
No, Kennett did a good ride yesterday to come in 8th place,
yeah.
But it's a very different race here today. He had the chance to rest on the descent, and I don't think that's here today. But we will see. Let's go across to our next race category, to category 5. Emma, what are your thoughts on category 5 here? We've had Peter Lucas basically holding top spot.
Yes,
you know,
but I'll tell you something, Junior Penn's yesterday, what a ride, what a race, what commitment to the end, to that finish line. He moved up 5 places on GC yesterday. Nick Spratt as well was part and parcel of that breakaway. And we know Spratt will be strong day after day after day. Spratt will still be strong on the final day of this competition. Luke Kendall looking good too now, but there's 30 seconds, you know, clearly separating Kendall from Spratt. But I mean, Kendall looked good when we went into the pain cave this morning.
He seemed really up for it, didn't he?
He looked really up for it. He looked really strong and he looked really calm and controlled. Cadabona and Petta, you know, just around that minute marker as well. They could both go well today.
Yeah, I think although it is a clear top 3 there, I think the rest of the riders are not far enough behind, and certainly positional changes rather than necessarily lead changes or top 3 changes is going to happen. Let's go across to category 4. Now, Aidan Sinclair, we've already said this today. It looks like he's making some choices now on this stage, not contesting maybe some of the points competition, thinking about that overall. He's going to have to dig deep today. He's leading overall. He took that race lead. Panuel Lusa, though, is looking dangerously good. I think he's a rider to be worried about here. And I don't want to discount anybody really in the top 4 because they had good days yesterday. 5th down to 9th place, they all lost places in the overall.
Yes, but I tell you something, I wouldn't discount any of them on this type of climbing today. If they've gone up and over that first climb in the lead group, now we've got a lot of draft out there on climb number 2 in particular. We will and we are going to see some attacks as we come to the top of climb number 3. But, you know, if you can stay in that draft and you can stay in, the longer you can stay in that leading group, the better today on GC.
Let's move across to category 3. Yu Yun Lin has been absolutely brilliant in this race. A 5th, a 4th, a 3rd, a 2nd, and the overall. He's not taken a stage win yet. His gap is tenuous. You know, it's 1 second. It's less than 2 seconds to ski here. And when you look at the top 10 there, they are covered by 9 seconds. It's nothing.
Mathieu Kalman moved up 9 places yesterday from 19th to 10th position. He's putting himself in a fantastic position and a fantastic place. And as you say, the time gaps are tiny. When I go further back down GC, 20 seconds is 16th place. And we don't get to the minute marker until, well, we get to 21st and 22nd. But when I say we get to the minute marker, it's 61 and 62 seconds.
And the rider in 21st place at 1 minute is Carlos Manarelli. And we saw what he did yesterday. So again, and we've seen what he's doing today.
Well, so Manarelli went up 12 places yesterday.
Might go up 20 today. Might yet happen. We will have to see. So although 10 riders on your screen, I think looking a little bit deeper on MyWhoosh.com results or MyWhoosh info is a great move. Now let's go to category 2. Defending champion, Mistakes 100, put himself into the right position early on in this race. Then we saw after stage 1 him holding position until yesterday, where Vidal Mair's attack, he was the rider who saw the danger and went with him. He's always wanting to go on the move, and he was on the move. Nathan Guerra's chase is good. Behind Peter Malostica's challenge, we see Mitchell Stewart taking away wins. But for me, I'm not sure I would want to discount any of the top 3. But I'm not sure I can see even Josiah Betty coming back into this. And bearing in mind, he was our long-term leader.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that you say that? I think Maciej Mendakowicz could go well today. I think there's a number of riders in the top 16, 17, 18 riders who could go well today. Interestingly, Milan Termerton is back in 16th place at the minute mark. So that just tells you how many riders are within 60 seconds of each other. For me, this is about how Category 2 race today, whether they race conservatively looking at each other, which they have a tendency to do. But we also have a tendency to see riders go down the road and it's can they get a breakaway clear? Category 1, Jason Osborne, 48 seconds clear of Ollie Jones.
Now, the question we always ask is, can anybody beat Jason Osborne? And I think the answer is, yes, they can. Will they? It's a very different matter. Osborne, 4 stage wins. He's increased his lead to 48 seconds overall. The only, the nearest rider other than Jones in 2nd place is Van Elst, who had a great day, moved up only 1 place, but I think that wasn't really representative for how good his ride was yesterday.
Well, do you know, I think the bigger question is, can the final bosses win the team competition? Because I think the Alpha Jaw Space Cowboys and Zero Ducks Racing are going to be doing a fabulous job of trying to win that battle. ZDR2 as well, Zero Ducks Racing 2, also in the mix. And I think actually for me, if we take Jason Osborne out of the picture, I mean, he is the world champion. He is, what was it? Lionel Villas-Courtemain called him a non-human because he is just so far. He is a step above the rest of the pack, and I think they see that. But Osborne. People who are a step above still have bad days, but you've got to be there to catch it. But the team competition for me is the one that really is open here, and that's what I'm really, really interested in.
Okay, so we are going to be covering all of our race categories. Remember, all of the race results that you're seeing are provisional at the moment, right the way from Jason Osborne down to Michael Kaminski, and all of our categories. They are provisional until verified. Every single rider in this race field is verified. It's not your top 3, top 5, top 10 and some randoms. It is everybody. It's an exhaustive process that goes on. It starts before the riders even get onto the bike, and it continues afterwards. Add in the random drugs testing program that is out there and the targeted drugs testing program from MyWhoosh. Add in the standard of equipment you have to meet to be able to race. It shows you just how tough it is, but it does mean those results are provisional until verified. So go on to the mywhoosh.com website, then go to results, click onto the right event, and you'll be able to see those results. And when it gets that blue stamp of approval, it means all the riders' performances have been verified in that race. And with this being a stage race, and with there being hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of riders across hundreds of kilometers, it does take a little while.
Well, that Category 1 race, 17 riders confirmed in the leading group, 33 seconds back to the Josh Harris group. Category 4, they've just gone through, well, they had gone through the Medlin Sprint for the first time. They're now on the climb. At that point in time at the Medlin Sprint, Falana took the 5 points. Sinclair took 4 to add to that sprint total tally. So that's going to be an interesting move. But they're now on the Paso Alto climb. The banner comes at the 33.3 kilometer marker. 29 riders in this leading group.
And our top 2 riders overall on GC on our screens, Aidan Sinclair leading overall by 4 seconds from Pano Alalusa, the rider that you can see just above Sinclair there on your screens, who's just below him on the overall classification. 4 seconds is nothing at the moment, and they've got to be so careful.
Yeah, and I took a little look as to where Aidan Sinclair was at the top of that first climb. He was sort of sat in around 20th position in the group. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, well, actually, maybe he's a younger rider riding with his head today, because sat in the pack, tightly in the group on the first climb, in the draft, as much energy conservation, because there's a golden jersey to protect.
There is a golden jersey to protect. The yellow jersey being worn at the moment by Nicola Savic, harnessing his inner Tadej, I suspect, here today. The other stage race happening at the moment, that little matter of something riding around the roads of France. Apparently very entertaining. I have to watch that back. Too busy watching our riders like Glenn and Ganabona here on the screens as the riders go underneath the archway.
Well, they do indeed. And underneath the archway is the way to get some segments completed and to add to your tally. Canabona adds 20 points to his King of the Mountains tally. Well, actually, that is the first 20 points he's tallied. Felipe Marin takes 17 points. Juan Roas takes 15. Whoa, Narovny takes 12 and Spratt takes 10. Spratt is up there in the mix, but how important is it for him to take top spot? Well, it's not, as long as he gets points on the door. 22 riders in the leading group in that Category 5 race as they progress on the flatter section towards the final climb of the day. They've got to go through the Paso Alto sprint at the 39.9 kilometer marker. Category 6 are ahead of them. Well, some of the Category 6, because this pack have already gone through some of that race field.
Riders scattered on the slopes of the Colombian mountainsides here today as these riders continue to push their way up the climb. So we are going to see who is going to take out the final positions. The climbs competition is continuing onwards all the way to the end. So are the sprint competitions. We've got our time trial still to come. Plenty of racing left, but at the moment here in Colombia, you can see very different racing happening across our races, whether that is our Category 4 solo breakaway by Batty. Let's have a little bit of a check of the other groups. Category 2, big groups looking together. Category 5, still got a block of riders. Category 3 is exploding again.
Yep.
Hjorhus versus Morgan versus Manarelli. So the battle in the climb competition playing out on the slopes as well as in that overall climb competition. You see Manarelli at the moment just trying to close the gap to Morgan and Hull horse behind. It's a 30-second gap. So is this the selection for the top 3 being made?
Well, I'm just taking a look a little bit how far back on GC Noel Batty is, because obviously he's putting in a sterling performance in Category 4 on the climb. It is 34 seconds to rider 2. It's over a minute to rider 3 in that race at the moment. But Batty 6 minutes 40 back on GC. They are going to be happy to let him go.
31k done, 60k or so. I'll have a little look. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are halfway, over halfway. We're over that halfway mark. Would you let him go? Would you let him? How far would you let him travel if you're a GC contender? You let him get pretty much as much as he wants.
No,
he's not going to get 5 minutes, is he?
No, he's not. But I wouldn't really want him to have more than 2. Because, you know, he could go well on the time trial on stage 6, because there's a lot of climbing on the time trial on stage 6 and there's no draft. So it would be one thing I would keep my eye on. Well, Jonathan Fager is keeping his eye on the front of the Category 6 bunch because he's in that golden leaders jersey. But he's made the selection into that leading group today. They're at the 37.2 kilometre marker. They're coming up to 20k to go in the race after an hour and 25 of racing so far. That leading group rolling on the right-hand side of your screen. Category 1 have been racing for 35 minutes. They're at the 20.9 kilometre marker. Jason Osborne is in the leading group, but he's got a lot of company out there. Pedersen, Milostic, Thrall. Tom Thrall's having another rider who's having a fabulous championships. Power, Penitza, Kaminsky, Pucker. They're all in the leading group as Pedersen just starts to put a little bit more power down through those pedals, and Osborne starts to close his wheel.
Racing just starting to get a little bit more tactical on the run into the climb here. The riders just looking to see what they can throw at Osborne, but Osborne responding straight away, continuing to push on the front of the Category 1 race. Closed down by Jones this time and Van Elst by Dom. They know that gap. It's 48 seconds now. We talk about Jason Osborne being able to ride away at will, to take this without having to worry too much, just take a little bit at a time. But, you know, it's only one bad day, one bad moment, and we are going to see Osborne lose that. It's going to happen. The day will come where we see Osborne have a bad day, where he cracks, where he gets it wrong, and then the teams need to be close enough to make the most of that. Because quite often in a stage race, it's not about who has a bad day, because everybody has one. It's about how well you manage that bad day and how close your rivals are, so that you can still be clear after that bad day.
Oh, Calderon, Mamba, Fager and Zimmel on your screen at the moment. In the leading group in the Category 6 race at the 38.4 kilometre marker. It is a fabulous, fabulous race out there in the Category 6 competition, and it is great to see the riders. You know, the selection here has been made in this race today, and the riders who need to be in it are in it. And it's still so close out there. When we come into this final climb, at some point, I'm going to say the fireworks are going to go, because it's still, you know, 34 seconds separates the top 7 riders on GC at the moment in Category 6. And, you know, at the top of the Paso Alto, you know, we're talking 22 riders still in contention in Category 6 in that leading group at the moment. It's going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, Category 6 and Category 5, very, very similar numbers, actually, isn't it? At the top of the Paso Alto. Category 6 coming through 22, as you say. Then you've got 22 in contention in Category 5, maybe 2 or 3 able to get back on again on the flatlands, but debatable.
Yeah, I feel really good today.
That number at the front of the race here.
Something getting dropped, though.
Just see Noel Batty at the moment really focused on the front of the race here.
I can only go so quick.
He's got 31 seconds this
I might be half
time.
decent.
And at what point does Batty not
I'm not going to blow up on
relax
1600 metre climbing day
relaxes down,
on the
lets
first
grip come
line.
back, and then he'll go again on the next climb. But
me,
I think he'll have more competition on the
Mundell,
next climb because
Bird,
of the fact it finishes 300
Jonas,
meters before the finish line.
Lucas
But he's done
Hoffman,
the job today
they're
in
all
terms of
absolute
picking up the
animals.
points out there. I'll tell you
Josh
what
Powers
didn't
behind us.
and that was the fact
He's
that
a
the
big,
pack this time were 20 seconds closer to
yeah,
him
it's a
than
big
the
group of
previous
guys.
time we went in. So they had picked up their pace
Not even
as
halfway
well
up.
in that Category 4 race to not let Narbati get too far ahead.
Some people will crack ahead of
now,
us.
the Category 6 race, Fager,
And the other part is,
Mamba and Calderon
Mundell and Hoffman are in my team.
they're part and parcel of this.
So we're out of the team
40
prizes.
kilometre marker.
There's
They're
no
coming up
incentive to
towards
push
the Paso
6
Alto
watts a kilo up the hill.
39.9k
Really.
marker, and that's the
That's a
green
shame,
banner
but
just ahead.
It's going to be a hard day anyway.
Hajuk is the rider pushing on here. Warren, I don't think is in this group. So it is indeed
57.9k today. All of it uphill.
So
3
here we
mountains,
go. You can
no
see
downhill.
Fago picking up points there. Mamba going to pick up points. So it's Fickstrom and
This one's 14k long.
Ivanov is in there.
The next one's 15.
Watching the riders tick on through. And I think the big
someone's
loser
cracked in front of us.
and I hate to say
that
it's the big loser in terms of overall, certainly, here in
I feel 100 times better than yesterday. 100 times better.
Warren. So Fago
I might be in the same position.
Hajuk in the point score.
Can I tell you what's really interesting is I'm loving
spin
the
up,
way
I can use my legs.
squads are helping each other out here.
I ate so much food.
1, 2 and 3 there in the sprint, all part and parcel of the Level family, picking up points because Ola Warren also part and parcel of that Level community leading that competition. Fickstrom
I waited for this group to catch me up
because 37, exactly the same as Jonathan Vegas. Ola Warren,
and I think they
not
caught me on the
through
flats
that
anyway.
point yet, but really great to see how the community and those larger team groupings coming together to help each other.
3 degrees cooler in my room.
All part of the fun of stage.
And I've moved rooms as well.
So collaborations where
I thought it was a colder room.
you see things, you know, if you
I've stuck a projector screen up in front of my
if you're
window outside,
the big 3-week stage races,
stop the direct
you see
sunlight.
how the racing's developed,
That's
and
helped
then
quite
what
a lot.
you're going to be able to see is you're going to see which teams start working together, which teams start
Gets the
collaborating.
intensity
They've got a
there,
common shared goal. They both want to bring back
right, who's this?
a
Someone's
rider,
cracked
or
here.
they don't want to let a certain team go down the road because of the team competition. They don't want to let a certain rider go down the road because the individual competition, or maybe the climbs, or maybe the intermediate sprints.
This one ends at 33k.
People, you know, if you are lining 4th, 5th,
Yeah,
6th, and 7th, and somebody's
I put it up the other day.
who's going to overtake you,
it does help a lot.
You might all be on different teams, but every one of those teams will work to bring that person back because they don't want to lose it. It's not just the front of the race that's confined to.
Well, Betty in the middle of this bunch, which is the right place to be, though there's a danger zone at the back because we're starting to see 1 or 2 riders just get distance off the back now. Just wondering who it is, but look at that. You can just see perfectly in that shot that the push is on from behind. Nitko is in there, Kanstanen is in there, Kalman is in there, Termerton is in there, Yazbek is in there, X100 is safe.
I don't know who it is. I wish this would just update.
It's an interesting move, and I tell you, that moves so quickly. I couldn't see. Pardon Cooper is the rider on the back. Christoph Thiem and Jakob Bjorklund gone from the group.
Yeah, some really big names actually just disappeared off the back of this.
He's on my team for the SRC. I was going to be in his team for this.
Category 2 race.
I saw Daniel Mundell. I'll be in his team.
A quick reminder for you. Josiah Bethy, who we saw on our screens, was our long-time leader. And he took the win on stage 1. He held on to that lead until yesterday, where he was deposed from that lead, and that meant he was out of the running initially, but he could pull himself back up as Category 5 go to the sprint. Nicola Savic, that we've seen on our screens, already ahead of
like 5 riders,
picking up points already. Both these riders active today. Savic in that yellow jersey in person, the blue of the Category 5 on his back. He goes through, takes that sprint, punches, quite rightly so. Rojas, Kubiak, Loxley, and Spratt coming through behind, and Catabona not far behind either.
Yeah, that's true. So Savic picking up the 5 points, and Rojas picking up 4, Kubiak picking 3, Loxley 2, and Spratt 1.
They're all hard. I think it's just the level of competition, and
I think
MyWhoosh's gaming dynamic. 300 watts on MyWhoosh is that's 320 watts,
doesn't it? It does make sense to stop if you
don't
don't have your sprinter.
You don't feel the draft on
the climb.
MyWhoosh.
You send somebody who is there down the road who
the way I explain it, it's like cycling
take those points away.
Into a headwind all the time.
Let's head back to Manarelli, who's leading that Category 3 race. coming
don't
up
feel
to
any
the top
draft.
of the Paso Alto climb.
It's a weird
here
feeling,
in
but
Colombia.
definitely makes you better at
Quick
Zwift.
reminder for you at Manarelli,
I said to
currently
Ray
running 21st
yesterday, I sent him a message. I said,
in
I feel like a fraud on Zwift.
category, just looking
because I'm like
to push himself up
38th
the
or something
overall standings here.
in this tournament.
Initially, 25 seconds
I don't think
to
if I
be
did
good on a Bakken
Zwift tournament,
and Morgan.
I don't think I'd ever
And
get 38.
Manarelli at the moment,
Really?
he's
It's
1 minute
crazy.
and 1 down on taking the overall lead at the start
There's a lot
of the
more
day.
to
So
it than
he's
just
still
power
got
numbers,
work
you
to
see.
do, but
I
don't
think Zwift is
discount
just power
Manarelli
numbers.
from continuing to push, because Carlos
People are beating
Manarelli
me with
was
less
the
power
person
on
who
it.
took our stage win
I'm
yesterday
in category 2 because I've got the power numbers,
category 5.
but I don't have the skill.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just doing a bit of
That's what it
cross-checking
is.
there and just
I'm
confirming
just not good
exactly
enough.
what I thought, and it's right.
Playing the
Category
game.
3.
The category 5 level crew protecting Joel
It's
Warren's
all good.
position,
Yes.
and
I think
the category 6 level crew
now
protecting Ola
I can say
Warren's
for
position.
definite we,
Okay, let's see
unless
what
some
happens
people
here
get
then as we
disqualified,
have our riders coming
we ain't
up
winning any
over
of the team
top.
prize
When we
money.
go through here, we're then going to run towards
So
our
just
sprint. So further
let's get it done.
6.6
It's going to be hard
kilometres from the
anyway.
checkpoint here
It's like a
as
60
we come up to the
kilometre
top of the Paso
time trial
Alto
on Monday.
climb to the sprint line. Behind Manarelli, Hulhorst, Morgan, Bakken, Corrales, Ivanov and Watts are the riders in order behind Manarelli. Interesting day, really, because Watts yesterday, I think, did a really decent ride. David Watts, but he's not in a great position overall. I'm just wondering how long can he hold
I think it's both.
that position. Manarelli, though, holding
We
first
start with
place,
40 of us.
continuing to push the
Go
line.
5k
7
time
points per kilo here.
and finish with
on
40
his
of us.
way in.
Tell me a Zwift
Manarelli
race you can do that in.
could well be looking for the overall
Because once
score
you're
of
at
the
the
most
draft, you're at the
points in
draft.
climbs competition on the day.
You know, we're 2.5 minutes down here on the group.
Climb
But
competition
we probably done just as much work as them. They just move faster.
There's only 3 points between
But
them,
in Zwift,
and the big
it'll
points
separate in
gap
little groups.
here from first to second is 3 points.
Yeah, it is.
You can catch back up
now
or
coming up behind Morgan,
work together in this.
Hulhorst actually as they go underneath.
Yeah.
You're on your own, you're out.
Picks up those points, not Hulhorst. Bakken coming through. Corrales is
You have
there
to stay
as well.
so
There's a
sharp.
further gap back
And I
to,
think I could have caught the
Watson,
group today.
Ivanov, and it's an interesting
And I was just
one here
delaying
as to
the
what do they
inevitable.
do. It's looking like Manarelli and Morgan are going to
So,
continue with the
I
pace.
thought,
So
just be
just
sensible.
confirmation on your screen of those points. And this is interesting.
And this is really good,
this
this
is
championship,
the first
because
group we've seen come through.
we've got to weigh in every day,
split
an hour
in the
before the
peloton.
race.
It is a big split in the peloton. They've
That's
got that
nice.
gap. They've got that. And no
It's a good
surprise, it's
experience.
Manarelli and Morgan on the move here as well. So riders up on to this climb, making their way up the next of our sections. We're just taking a look here. This is another attack here on category 2. Emma, any more news just going back briefly to that category 3 race? You got any other further updates?
Yeah, the category 3 race, the 22 rider chase group is 39 seconds back off the breakaway groups. Well, David Nitko on the front of the pack here with the category 2 race. They're pushing on and just starting to stretch the group at the 30-kilometre marker. There's 3.3k to go until we get to the polka dot banner. SS on the front of the pack. Betty, Gorjank, Termerton, Trujillo, Nitko. They're at the 30-kilometre marker and really starting to push. The category 1 race about 3.2k further back down the mountain, and there's not a big push on at the moment, although Osborne is on the front.
He's not setting a pace that will break him. I mean,
I think it is generous.
I also think on what would happen with
having now done more years outdoor riding,
he would go at
nothing like outdoor
5.11k into
that's amazing.
Especially
for smaller
given
guys,
that they are currently
all the bigger people in front
trucking along and they've got 27k covered, then approaching half race distance, and at half race distance, and it's taken them 47 minutes, and you still got a shallower climb than the first climb, but it's longer. I think we're not far off that sort of hour marker to go.
It's flat,
so
and then it's a big
first scenario,
like 3k drag up, 4k drag
with an hour to go. Transport will Osborne wait and go for the safe option, which is to kick away when he knows
the draft in real life, when you get the pace
time
going
to the finish and not take anyone. There's no risk of him blowing and just take a few more seconds. The careful calculated
level
approach.
Oh, careful.
When you get the speed up,
it's going to be interesting to see well, category 6 at the 44.1 kilometre marker, the furthest riders up the road. The category 5 pack, 1 kilometre behind them.
Really so
that's interesting because there's still a significant amount of racing to go. The category 2 pack on the top right hand corner of your screen, we've seen a lot of attacks and a lot of pushes at the moment, but the pack now all back together again. Category 1, the stretch is on, and it's not Osborne who's gone off the front, but it's Osborne who's responding to Ruben Dont.
I think this is really Hobson's choice for these riders, isn't it? Because do you just wait and let Osborne choose his moment to attack, or do you attack and risk the counter attack from Osborne?
Well, the counter attack is gone.
Yeah, I think the attack went from Don.
Yeah, it's like this all day.
And now the counter
so he's
attack
to 5.6, 5.7
over the top. So
I must have a really close.
Rather than holding it together, you end up
threshold to my VO2 max.
The question for me is, will riders be cohesive enough in that chasing group to close Osborne down? It's not a massive group. We've already lost riders in.
That's a really good here.
On your screens, it is a massive group.
I end up pulling a gap.
Yeah, it is.
There's no need because
group at the
they'll just catch me on the flat.
Kilometre marker. They are moving up the climb at a steady pace. It is a wide group, isn't it, across the road? You know, and just doing a double check. I think we said we had 22 riders in the leading group. Yep, we have indeed in this category 2 race. So Mamba on the front, Montoya, Quickstrom, Hadjuk in there as well, but I'm looking at the pace, currently sat zone 3 at the moment, so a good pace, but still a pace at which if you were out riding on the road, you'd be able to have a more stilted conversation. Well, we drop in with Efren Mamba and you can see the gradient just starting to kick here, and the lift in pace up to zone 4. It's just shy of 5% the gradient, and it does around here change quite often.
It does indeed. Just watching these riders making their way up the climb at the moment. Looking at category 6 currently making their way up. They're not at the 10K to go marker yet. We're going in towards those bumpy kilometers, though. Once we get over the 50-kilometer marker. At the moment, though, you can see the riders in that headwind section just coming up to the 45K to go mark. It's only a very short headwind section, and you can see it on your screens at the moment. So at 45K, there's a thick red band. After that, there are only about 2 more real headwind sections on the way to the summit. So the course winding its way around from the base down in the Amazonian jungle up to the top of Medellin City, up then the climb of Paso Alto to the Bogota city, and then going up again on the climb, making the way up towards the summit. An absolutely huge climb, the El Veron climb, to finish a climb you can ride in person in the nation of Colombia, and climbing out from Bogota City. But I tell you something, it's a lot easier to do it on MyWhoosh in terms of logistics than it is to do it in person.
Well, I was just about to think, at least our riders don't have to turn around at the top in real life and go back down to the city to actually sleep for the night.
I don't know whether there's anything at the top of the climb, do you?
So good question. We'll find out when we get there. But at the moment, the Paso Alto sprint is where a lot of our riders are heading. And then out onto that final climb of the day, where we see Category 6 on the move. Category 5 through the Paso Alto sprint as well. Category 4 are through that Paso Alto sprint at the 39.9 kilometre marker as well. Well, Noel Batty went through solo. Aidan Sinclair behind. The group of 24 riders, including Sinclair, 45 seconds behind Niall Batty. Category 3 will be the next group of riders to that sprint point. Category 1, we saw the attacks. We saw Ruben Dont go up the road. We saw Jason Osborne go up the road. We saw Kaminsky do some chasing. They're all back together again. So it is push on, chase, come back together. That's what's happening in the Category 1 races. They come to the 30-kilometre point. 27.9k to go in Category 1. In Category 3, Manarelli has got a great gap, you know. Carlos Manarelli in the black polka dots there with a Category 4 Masters rider. That's what that jersey indicates. 47 seconds clear of the chase group now. Manarelli is doing some phenomenal work in terms of his position in the race overall. Talking about positions in the race overall, category 2 are now underneath the Paso Alto climb checkpoint, and SS dropped out of the pack to pick up those points. The rest of the pack, a huge pack, 26 riders going under that banner, very, very close behind. So SS picking up 20 points in that competition. Trujillo picking up 17, Nuki picking up 15, X100 picking up 12, and Gal Yezbek picking up 10.
UAE clan team picking up 3 out of the 5-point scoring positions there at the top of the climb as they come up. Just to let you know, if you do go and ride the Alto del Vejon, which is the climb that this is based on in Colombia, if you go over the top, it is a pass, so it goes over to Bogota across to Chiochi. Chiochi is the far side, and it has to be said, the riders actually get the easy side. The Chiochi side is longer. It's 23 kilometers in total distance and a steeper total elevation gain as well. The Chiochi climb on its own is 1,300 meters of elevation.
Well, perhaps we'll descend that one.
If you go over the top, guys, and it keeps on going in virtually, keep on going. It's all those Ks added into your, and all those gems keeping on adding up. What a great way to get those Ks back. Yeah, big climb. Big climb. Okay, let's take a look at our sprint now. Here, we're seeing it coming from Manarelli. He has caught and passed a number of riders in the categories that set off in front. Manarelli here absolutely dialing this. He's still got 30 seconds in front of Morgan and Co. Morgan's coming at speed because he wants the sprint points. It's not the rider immediately behind Manarelli here. It's actually the tiny diminutive figure further back that's at just under 30 seconds. That is Morgan. But Morgan is coming from a group that contains Hulhurst and Bakker, but Manarelli at the moment leading that through that time around. Going to pick up maximum points in the sprint competition that time.
Interesting. Manarelli clear at the moment of Morgan's group. Morgan in a group of 4 riders, and then it's a further 30 seconds back. This is interesting now because these splits are what are going to start to impact on the GC, the overall competition out there. And Carlos Manarelli, it's a long way to the line to run solo. It's about 17 kilometers still to go in this race, but he's on a roll. He's sat in his time trial mode. He's got his head down. 33 seconds to Morgan, 42 seconds to Bakker, Corrales and Hulhorst, and then 120 now to the chasing group led by Watts. I tell you something, that chasing group, yeah, it's really interesting. I'm just waiting for the main group to come through underneath that sprint banner so that we can take a look at the size of it. But at the moment, Manarelli takes 5 points, Morgan takes 4, Bakken takes 3, Corrales takes 2, and Hulhorst takes 1.
So Manarelli, just to give you a reminder, 1:01
Ricardo's
and 1 second.
I think he was
off the gold jersey. The leader's jersey being
looks like he's having dropouts
by Yu Young Lin. So 1:01 to make up.
Well, I'll tell you something, this category 3 race has blown apart on the slopes here in Colombia because the main group has not come through yet. So Manarelli is clear of Morgan by 24 seconds, who is clear of Bakken by 6 seconds. Corrales is with Bakken. Well, actually, Corrales isn't. Corrales is even further back. Then in terms of the main group, they are 1 minute 33 back on Manarelli. This is an amazing move. Yep. So we've got 1 rider on the road, followed by 1 rider, followed by 3 riders, followed by 2 riders, and then 35 seconds back to a group of 21.
Yeah, and Yu Young Lin at 1:33. The race leader is at 1:33 to Carlos Manarelli. Manarelli is going to be the leader on the road but he's holding that with Morgan because Morgan sits almost midway overall behind Yu Young Lin in the overall coming in today. So Morgan was back.
Yeah, because he was doing really well as well.
Leader by 28 seconds.
In the GC.
At the moment, Morgan is well over a minute and 10 seconds to the good. Manarelli now at the front, really up and challenging. So the battle for the overall is actually Morgan versus Manarelli, and Manarelli has to keep the gap.
Well, there's a battle coming shortly because at the 33.3 kilometre marker, it's the polka dot banner of the Paso Alto climb. We know Jason Osborne is going to come out of the pack and want to pick up those points. The question for the group is how close are they going to go with him, because will he just keep going? That's a big question, but it is flat after the Paso Alto banner. Osborne coming out of the mix. Don't marking the moves, just picking up the pace slightly. So is Milostic and Van Elst. Milostic will get points in that competition, so will Don. Just in case something happens to Jason Osborne over the next few stages,
you go to MyWhoosh.com.
Really don't know. You can't bank on the fact that the person leading the competition will stay leading the competition. But Osborne in 1, Don in 2, Power in 3, Vujasin, Paradians and Thrall. They're all pushing from behind. They're not letting Osborne go too far. Now Don picks up the pace because he wants those points.
He does indeed. Osborne in 1, Don in 2. It's going to be a sprint behind with Power Van Elst and Milostic, I think, all in the point scoring positions here on the top of the climb. But I think there's as much action here because people are watching the overall positions. There's always the danger when Osborne gets a gap that he will go clear. Skierski this time now goes on to the front, and look at this Skierski and Osborne at the moment ramping this up. Jones sees the danger.
Jones is not going to let two of them go.
No, you would be very, very foolish to let Skierski and to let Osborne go. The two final bosses riders together.
Bruce Bird,
I don't think so, says Ollie Jones.
Juggernaut.
Very quickly, the Avgol Space Cowboy goes on to the wheels and make sure that that is not going to continue onwards and that he can pull them back. That's on the left-hand side of the screen. Right-hand side of the screen, it looks like Mr. X137 kilometre marker is not going to let these riders relax. Vidal May, his breakaway companion of yesterday, at the moment up with him. So May and X100 on the front of the Category 2 race. Kalman, Gorjak, Guerra, Machado, Hayland, all in the mix. Stewart is here, previous stage winner. Tujillo, Yazbek is here. Hoyos is here. It's just... there's so many riders in contention here. They are all our big contenders. Surmerton, Miller, Boulanger, all in the mix.
This is what
Nobody wants to let someone else's race now go anywhere. Gal Yazbek is into the front group here on this big climb at the moment. He's out of the saddle, tapping out that rhythm. I tell you something.
He's looking good today, you know.
Yeah. You know when you see a rider and you think they're on a good day?
Yep.
That's what it looks like.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch. It really is. X100 and Machado, Mare on the front here. Gorjank also matching and touching and watching the moves. Mikhail Machado is the rider on your screen at the moment. And, well, really interesting. But the move here, Milan Termerton starting to cover the moves, the rider in the young jersey as well. That's an interesting race going on. Gal Yazbek is right up there. Vidal Mare, Gorjank, Mendakowicz also covering the move. X100 sitting up now, knowing that it's not the move that's going to go away, because everybody in this Category 2 race is about to be marked if they try and go off the front. It's going to take a real big effort, probably from a small group of people, to go clear, but everybody is going to be marking everybody else. They're at the 38.6 kilometre marker. They're coming in towards that sprint checkpoint of the Paso Alto. In terms of that sprint competition, Machado will want to watch some points because Vidal Mare may well be leading that competition, but Machado sat in second place. So Mikhail Machado wanting to ensure he picks up points in the sprint competition in Category 2 as they come within the final 1,000 metres of the last sprint banner of the day. In Category 1, Hayden Pucker's gone down the road. So the final bosses send Pucker down the road. Dane, Turek, Dont are doing the chasing, but they're at 8 seconds. You can see the group behind. They are going past and through some Category 2 riders. Well, the McCall might be coming out for riders to help and work together, but it's Category 2 back markers that they are passing. The Category 2 race at the 39.4 kilometre marker actually isn't too far up the road, but it is the Category 2 back markers that the Category 1 race is catching. Pucker off the front of the pack at the moment. So Macedo wanting to pick up those points in the sprint competition as they come through towards that section. X100 doing the chasing, but Macedo's going to make it through at 10 watts per kilo. Mayer is chasing as well. He's currently got that green skin suit on in terms of those sleeves. That's what you're watching for. Mendakowicz, Gorjan, Kalman, Damsgaard watching the moves. But it is indeed at that point in the race, Macedo that comes over the line in 1. Mayer comes over the line in 2. X100, Mendakowicz and Gorjan pick up the points. 27 riders still in that leading group. So 27 riders were in the leading group when we went through the Passo Alto climb. 27 riders in the leading group as we go through the Passo Alto sprint in Category 2. Now we see Nathan Guerra come to the front of the pack and start to push on those pedals. So the 2K off the base of the final climb of the day, but there's some small ramps along the way. Guerra's done his work, he's done his homework, and he's made a decision as to when he starts to move in the race. And now is the time he comes to the front of the Category 2 pack. They're not going to let him go down the road easily. This is going to be one big battle on the final 18 kilometres of this race.
And I think, given who, where, what, how this race has unfolded, Guerra has been left chasing since day one. He's been left chasing the race, left chasing the lead, and he will want to be in a position where he's not doing that anymore when he's coming in, where he's able to dictate the pace rather than have to chase all the time, rather than having his tactics dictated to him. So I think that's a good move by him. I think he's going to want to get to the front in Category 2. Let's go across to Category 6 at the moment. They're starting to catch riders in that Category 5 race with some consistency at the moment as they make their way up here towards the top of the climb. Remember, this was 24 riders together when they went through that Passo Alto sprint at the 39.9 kilometer marker, nearly 10K further on, basically 5 miles up the road. If you work in Imperial old school money, then you can see that we've just shed 1 or 2 riders, but at the moment it's not decisive. And I think the riders are very aware, given the amount of racing they've done, the amount of riding they've done, that it's a race where it's initially attritional, where you're initially just shedding riders off the back. At some point, you can make a decisive move. But these riders are still a long way from our finish at 57.9K. Yeah. There's a lot of ascent still to come. I don't think the time is now. I really don't. I think if you're going to put in one big dig and you're going to have that one big dig count to the finish, you would go later. And a point that you made in the women's race, Emma, the top of this climb is a roller coaster style finish. It's not flat rolling bumpy, it's rolling and bumpy. There's no flat in it.
I'll tell you who's flat out away at the moment, and it's Hayden Pucker. He's now 15 seconds clear of the group, and they've let him go. This is dangerous. This is dangerous for a number of reasons. One, he's a strong rider and a strong racer with great watts, and this is a flat section of road, and this final climb really will suit him. 2, it's dangerous because he's part and parcel of the final bosses, and if Jason Osborne launches an attack, he's got a teammate down the road to help, to will to sit on, to work together.
Yeah, it certainly is at the moment going off the front here. I think interesting this move by Pucker, putting in this move off the front here. Hayden Pucker's 5 minutes down on GC.
Yeah, he is.
You know, he's out at GC. Unless there's an alien abduction to the rest of the bunch now, or they all decide to stop for an ice cream on the way up the climb. Just not going to happen. I think for me, he really is putting this in. And Hayden Pucker was looking forward to this stage. You know, it was can I get over the first one? Can I get into the second and third? How am I going to then race it? It is almost a TT up here. And now that we're onto this tailwind section, I think this is critical. There are 2 small headwind sections you have to face on the climb. But this section is actually on a downhill. This is Hayden Pucker territory now.
Yes, I agree.
And then you're going to see the climb. interesting behind. Thomas Thrall now making a move. Thrall came too quick, you know, in the last few stages.
I think that was a push from Thrall to see who would go with him, and nobody really went up and over the top. No one was really interested. So Thrall offered the pace very, very quickly there, part and parcel of that ZDR2 squad. You know, so the group back all reconvened.
It almost reminds me of the stage where we saw in the Tour de France, where we saw Visma throw riders over the top of the climbs in the early breakaway. So there's somebody up the road for you know, the riders to go with. Pucker's going to go through underneath our sprint banner here. He's going to take away maximum points. That's utterly immaterial, I think, to the racing at the moment.
Paradin's flying out of the pack at 15 watts per kilo.
This is the only man who the points matter to. It's Paradin's, and Paradin's, I think, is looking to set aside enough points in that overall sprints competition that he doesn't need to worry about it anymore. And he's not at that stage because Jones
I don't know where we'll be, but we'll be in there.
And they are in second and third place in that competition overall. They've kept him close enough that he can't relax. So Paradin's taking 4 points after Pucker's 5. It's 3 to Skierski, 2 to Jones, 1 to Power. But in the overall, that gap, it's not, that race is not going to be over, I think, until we go potentially halfway through the last stage. And maybe not even then. Maybe it might come down to the last sprint, depending on how Paradin's is going after our rest day. At the moment, he's got a good lead. It doesn't mean that he's going to keep it. He's still only a handful of points clear at the front overall in that sprint competition. So
interesting.
Sprint's done for the day in all of our categories for our race leaders. There's no more points available on the stage today because every point has been hoovered up now by category 6 right the way through to category 1. We're diving in with category 4 at the moment. We are on to our climb here and making their way up the climb. Our leaders not going to be that far from coming into the finishing category 6 and 5, but at the moment, Niall Batty leading the category 4 race at the moment, up and on to the climb. Batty, he's kept pushing this time. We did ask the question, would he stay? Would he go? Well, should he stay or should he go now? The answer was go. Batty, 1 minute 6 to Aidan Sinclair, the rider behind him at the Alto sprint. He had 45 seconds, so the gap is going out. So Batty, 45 seconds at that section, just winding this clock backwards to the Paso Alto. Paso Alto climb, Batty had 34 seconds. He opened that to the sprint to 45. He's currently got at the moment 50 seconds to Sinclair. In terms of the overall, Batty is too far down to challenge the overall unless he keeps on really pushing here and really continues to stretch this gap out at the front. I can't see him opening up enough of a gap. Niall Batty currently sitting behind Sinclair. Sinclair, the key chase, really, I think it's going to come from the rest of the bunch here. However, still lots of time for that to unfold in all of our race categories because it could change in the last few meters. Now, category 2, we're in with Mr. X100 tucked into this main group with Miller, Yazbek, Termerton, Van Zijden, along with Nico Guerra. They're all in this bunch looking at each other. There are riders who have been distanced off this group, but it's still attritional rather than an attacking a race that's going clear. We're going to go across to category 3, where it is a different race altogether. Hjulhorst on the front attacking it. It's the 47-kilometer marker. Corrales is answering, so is Manarelli. Manarelli did have that big race gap initially. He'd gone clear. Had Manarelli, as he came through the Paso sprint, he got 24 seconds, but Manarelli pulled into the fold and pushed down into 4th place, moves over the top of Bacchus, so the rider in that green skin suit is Manarelli. He's closing down on Corrales, he's closing down on Hjulhorst. Back and he's able to keep a little bit of a watchful eye. And Morgan now is the rider who is dropping down. Morgan was the nearest rider to Manarelli as they came off climb 2 going into climb 3. But now Morgan is at 8 seconds 5 riders clear of the big pack behind, or what's left of the big pack behind. And at the moment, they've got the gap on everybody else. And I think the problem now will be for these 5, it will be about who do they trust to take to the finish together? Can they break it apart? Will they go for that solo lead? Manarelli did it yesterday. He took that win. Can he repeat it? He's been on the back foot. He's been dropped. He's made contact. Bakken now starts to wind up on the front. 5 watts per kilo from Room Bakken. He's keeping the pressure on those pedals. As we go back into category 1 at the 42.9K marker, 500 meters onto this climb, and Hayden Puckett is still pushing out 6 watts per kilo. Dan Turek has set off in pursuit. So Turek now, the rider who is on the move, the Alpha Space Cowboy, trying to close down on the final boss's rider. That is Hayden Pucker. They've seen the danger. They're aware of the danger in that team competition. They don't want to lose ground to the final boss's team as they go up here. The final boss is leading them by 1 minute and 4 coming into this stage. Pucker has set off up the road, and it's giving them another advantage here. Turek's going about to rectify that issue for the Space Cowboys, but his teammates need to be backing him up. Jones, Vujasin and Kaminsky, and at the moment they are behind Osborne, who has left the group at 10 watts per kilo. So we've had countdown. We've had the engines being lit, and Jason Osborne has now fired and has launched from the main group. He's got Pucker 30 seconds in front. He's got Turek at 4. And I tell you something, he's coming onto the wheels at Turek very, very quickly. Indeed, it will suit him to go up the road with Pucker. He won't worry about Turek being in that little group as Dont now starts to push as well. So we're going to see if Dont can come up here. Can he do something for the Zero Ducks Racing team here today? Van Elst is chasing hard. So is Jones. So is Skierski. There are 8 seconds on Turek. Pucker, though, from Turek, a further 26 seconds up the road. But Turek is about to have company. The world champion, the leader in the mountains competition, the leader of the general classification is on his way, and it's Osborne who makes contact with Turek. He's going to come blasting up alongside him here at 7, now 8 watts per kilo from Jason Osborne. Turek's down at 7. He's got to respond quickly. He can't afford to let the gap go. He's in the draft, but now it's gone. So the draft has gone. He's not able to take advantage of that from Osborne. He's getting it from some of the other slower riders. Turek now has to dig deep. Look at him on your screens. He's focused on the race in front of him. He's tapping that rhythm out at 76, 77 revs per minute. He's looking to keep Osborne in touch. He knows the danger of letting the world champion go up to the front of the race. Let's jump across to category 6 now. The leaders on the road at the moment really pushing. We are in with our overall leader. And that is Jonathan Fager, who had the GC coming into today. Fager working his way up with Toro, but there are riders up there. This is dangerous for Fager overall. He was being inspired by Tadej Pogačar, but the problem he's got is that even Pogačar can have a bad day, and Fager at the moment is fighting to stay in touch. Cadabona at the moment is the rider who is in front of him, and can he now pull him back into the fold? Because the problem for him is that he is lost ground, and the riders in front are riders that are challenging on GC. Toro is up there, but more importantly, I think Quickstrom and Rademacher are pushing on the front. We've got to see who's in that leading group yet. But at the moment, Cadabona just in front of Fager, just working hard here. Now we're taking a look. Rademacher is in front here. So is Ivanov. So is Zimiel. This is a problem, a big, big problem for Fager. Fager is losing ground. It's roller coastery very quickly, but that doesn't mean you can back off. It does give you the chance to get on, but Jonathan Fager, I think, is in danger of losing the lead overall here as Cadabona pours the water on his legs to try and cool himself down. The leader of the Category 5 race was Toin Fager, the general classification leader in the Category 6 race up. But I tell you something, Cadabona has chosen his moment well.
He has indeed, and at the 52.7 kilometre marker, he is working and working strongly. He put that national champs jersey on today with intention, but at the moment the intention is to win the Category 5 race, but there is still around 5 kilometres to go here. They're at the 52.9 kilometre mark. It's 57.9 when the finish line comes, and Garces Zimael in the mix here in the Category 6 race. 2, 4, 6, 7 riders in the mix here in this race. Toro 6 seconds back is the next rider in the Category 6 pack. One of those riders in there is indeed Cadabona, who's wearing that GCC jersey in Category 5.
And behind this group is the GC leader coming in today, Jonathan Fager, currently at 8-9 seconds. He's not got far to go. It's only going to be about 4.5 kilometers in distance. The problem for him, he's on his own, and we are in rolling ground at the moment, so the speed will go up. The aerodynamic advantage of the group will be together.
I tell you, he's caught Toro.
He has got Toro, but the problem is Toro is not his problem. I don't think here the issue for him is that you've got in this leading group the challengers in the GC overall up here, including last year's winner in Rademacher. Quickstrom is the rider I'm looking for. He's in this group as well. So Quickstrom, I think, is going to be leader on the road overall. In fact, it's 8 seconds the gap between Fager and Rademacher. It's only 6 seconds to Quickstrom on the GC, and it means now that Quickstrom has taken the virtual jersey overall on the road. Will he be able to hold it as we see Osborne make contact with Pucker? We'd seen the chase come from behind. We'd seen the riders are very aware they didn't want to let this go down the road. Dan Churek was doing sterling work to try and keep them there. He was the first rider to go after Pucker. Osborne then went, he passed Churek, he's deposed Churek, he's thrown him really to the wolves behind him, and Osborne has gone past Pucker like an express train, and Pucker now needs to stay focused because they are really, really pushing now.
They are pushing from behind, and Lyndon Milostic is leading the charge behind Hayden Pucker at the moment. Ollie Jones is on his wheel. Stefan Van Elst is there. Neil Frey and Pavel Skierski not too far back either. So the push is on the climb here at the 46.2 kilometre marker. Oh, they are just over 10 kilometres from the finish line here in the Category 1 men's race, and the race is on. Churek, Kaminsky 6 seconds behind Pedersen. Pedersen is the rider we are in with at the moment. He is the next rider who is going to see Hayden Pucker up ahead. Skierski, Van Elst, Milostic have all gone past Pucker now and continue on their chase of Jason Osborne.
Team competition really playing out in front of our eyes on the slopes here in all of our race categories. As we go to Category 2 on the right-hand side of your screens, Mr. X100 was leading the overall competition. He's still in this group. Guerra has been throwing the attacks down. He's not been able to make it stick. Neither has Milostic, and you can just see that this really is a battle that is going to unfold, and it's going to decide, I think, some of these final positions. We're going to take people out of the overall race here, potentially in all of our race categories.
Well, Ollie Jones and Lyndon Milostic have gone up and over the top of Jason Osborne, so Osborne's now got company as Milostic attacks. The group has brought him back. So Jason Osborne now in the group. Too many of them doing the chasing, too many of them in contention for Osborne to go clear. Now, he doesn't have Pucker down the road this time. This is all on Osborne. And I tell you, the young Australian rider is on some absolutely outstanding form. Lyndon Milostic, I tell you, Pavel Skierski has got a battle on his hands today for the young riders competition. And that's not to preclude the overall. Well, Ollie Jones, Jason Osborne, Neil Fryatt, Pavel Skierski, Lyndon Milostic, Stefan Van Elst, Ruben Don are the riders in the leading group. It's a 7-up group in the front of the Category 1 race at the moment. And Neil Fryatt has come into this conversation. He's come into the conversation big style on the MyWhoosh Championships. Not one of the riders who rides on the Sunday Race Club regularly, but he does ride and race on MyWhoosh. We've seen him in the World Championships putting in phenomenal performances. But for me, Neil Fryatt is normally a sprinter. He is using his power beautifully here. Another rider putting down the power at the moment is Cadabona on the front of the Category 5 race. Villa Petta and Lucas Petta neck and neck here. Lucas Petta looking to defend that gold jersey. Villa Petta trying to come across the gap to Cadabona and stay in contention.
Villa Petta, 1 place behind Cadabona on general classification overall. 1 second separating them. 5th place coming into today's stage at 1 minute was Cadabona. 6th place was Villa Petta at 1 minute and 1 on Lucas Petta. And at the moment, Cadabona has not got enough distance to the rest of the riders to jump up over the top of this group. There's too many people behind who want that position. Luke Kendall, who came in to this race today, though, feeling good. He's currently at 7 seconds behind. He is losing a little bit of ground, and that's to Villa Petta, about 14 to Cadabona. It's a little bit of ground, but it's not a lot. I don't think he's in danger of losing his overall position, but we will have to see because there's not many seconds separating them. The overall was Petta leading at 19 seconds, Pens at what was 20 seconds, Spratt. And then we saw Kendall, Cadabona and Petta, followed by Loxley, Lekva, Milik and Arcilla. They were your top 10.
They're on his wheel. They've caught Cadabona. So the leading group in Category 6, the leading group in Category 5, all coming together as they come into the last 1.3 kilometers of this race. Now we're going to see different riders attack off the front here. Cadabona's got to get back into the mix. He's got to regroup and he's got to go again.
He has. He really has to push Rod Loxley now at the moment, just battling to stay with this group as goes on to the slopes. Loxley, the rider who is leading this out. We're going to see if he can hold on here at the moment because this is tough stuff. This is critical for your race finish here today. Category 6, as they came in today, being led by Fager from Quickstrom, Rademacher, Zimil and Ivanov. And we know that Fager has faded in Category 6. In Category 5, it was Petta, Penn, Spratt and Kendall. And it's the Category 5 riders now who are leading this race out. Arcilla is on the front now. You can just see Petta chasing Arcilla, the rider who was in 10th place at the start today. He's way back on GC. He's got everything to gain from a stage win here today. If he can make it his, Spratt is a distance, 2 seconds back. Spratt comes back into contact once again. Santiago Arcilla leading this out.
He is indeed, and Arcilla leads it out towards the final checkered flag here on stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships. This is Colombia. This is the mountain route, and it's Arcilla at the moment from Pens. Junior Pens starts to pick up the pace. Lucas Petta is in there. Barrier is in there. Kendall is in there. Thornton is in there. Spratt is coming back. Cadabona is going out the back of the group at the moment, and Michael Rademacher, the leader in the Category 6 race, is moving through the field.
300 meters separates the polka dot banner. The first banner our riders will see at 57.6K covered. The next banner they see will then be the finishing banner at 57.9K. We're going to stay focused on the overall, on that race win and that GC battle, although there are points being decided here. Anyone in a polka dot jersey right up at the front here is doing a great job of holding on to position, and you can see that, but there are points going to go flying around here because it's big points at the top. The race at the front, Barrier is now gone over Arcilla. Less than 300 meters to go to the race finish. You can see Barrier has got this stage win in his sights now. He's at 6.5 watts per kilo. 200 meters and less to go. Behind him, Arcilla and the gold jersey, the GC leader Petta, now at 6 seconds Barrier. This is going to be a great result for him here today. He's looking for the stage win. Here comes the gantry. It's Francisco Barrier who takes away the win on the big mountain stage here today on the top of Columbia. For Category 5, Arcilla in second, Petter in third, Thornton in fourth. It's going to be Kendall, I think, in fifth place. As we look down the slopes for the riders coming in, Cadabona comes, and then behind it's a sprint for the line. Esteban Montoya in the Category 6 race goes over the line. What a ride by Montoya. Ivanov almost had him on the line. The mountains leader coming in and through. There's big changes behind. Rademacher comes through with Quickstrom, and the top of the race categorization in the individual competition in Category 5 and Category 6 are very different stories. Petter in the mixing Category 5, Vega not in the mixing Category 6, so expect some changes, and it's going to change all the way down through our race fields across all of our riders as we go in with Niall Batty, Category 4 leader on the climb.
Wow.
Some really fast finishes. Batty at the moment at the 56.8K. So let's give you the confirmed, well, okay, they are our provisional results.
Yes,
shall I say,
indeed.
over the top. They are not official. So let's do Category 6 first. It was down to the wire between Emil Ivanov and Esteban Montoya in the Category 6 race at the line. And on the throw, Emil Ivanov has it on my screens from Montoya. Is that what you're seeing on yours, Emma?
Yes, I do indeed. I have Ivanov from Montoya, from Rademacher, from Quickstrom, from Vergara, and I can tell you what that does to the overall GC. We have Quickstrom at the moment going into that golden jersey, 1.5 seconds ahead of Michael Rademacher, who moves himself up into second place on GC today.
Jonathan Vega, the leader coming into today, coming over the line in 9th place, 1 minute 15 down, and that's why there's that big change. Let's go to Category 5 as we see a very similar story. A sprint on the top. Barriers taking it from Arcilla, not quite as close, not on the same time. 4 riders on the same time in Category 6. 5 in Category 5, it's just 1 rider on that lead time. Barrier taking the win from Arcilla, then 8 seconds back, Lucas Petter. At 9 seconds, Brendan Thornton. Luke Kendall rounding out the top 5, taking that position. 10 seconds down on the race winner today. The overall
stays the same. Lucas Petter stays in that leader's jersey. Pens in second, Spratt in third. 25 seconds still separating those 3 on GC after the mountain stage in Columbia.
So don't forget, all of these results are live, coming to you here on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel or on Twitch TV. They are quite literally updating in front of our eyes as these riders come through where it's close to call. Remember, of course, all of these riders are measured to 1,000th of a second as they come in and over the line. You're not going to need thousandths of seconds for Niall Batty. Niall Batty at the moment is leading this race out. This is a tale of 2 races here. Batty has been battling in the mountains competition. He's looking to take away the stage win here today. Now Batty comes to the summit. He's going over the line. He got a big gap. It was not going to be enough, but now Batty climbs today. He shows that come the big climb, a man whose self-professed favorite climb is the endurance climb, does it today here. Behind, Sinclair versus Alalusa is playing out. This is the run for the overall. Sinclair was leading coming in. He didn't go for the sprints. He saved some energy today. Alalusa has not got the answer to Sinclair at the finish. The energy conservation is paying off. He's giving it everything. Again, you can see he's absolutely pushing, but there's more energy in the tank, I think, than there was at the finish of the last stage. And Alalusa is not closing the gap down. A win for Niall Batty on the stage will give him the win in terms of taking today's prize, but the overall is going to stay with Aidan Sinclair as they come in. Batty too far down the standings to challenge overall. His time losses early on too big. Sinclair is going to extend his lead at the top of the Category 4 race. at the moment as he comes into the line. Over the line he goes. The gap there to Alalucia. Alalucia is not going to get that gap back down again this stage. He'll have to wait for the time trial in stage 6.
Amazing racing going on out there in all of our categories. Aidan Sinclair defending that leader's jersey in absolute style and racing with his heart as well as his lungs out there. Well, Manarelli has been doing a sterling job out in the category 3 race at the moment, and it's a clear 200-meter gap he's got on Matteo Corrales.
But Corrales is closing him down from behind. Corrales is trying to work the gap down. Manarelli had the gap, and then it came back. And then he's come out. Manarelli's got these yo-yos. I mean, you know, he can do cat's cradle, no problem. That guy on the with the yo-yo, because he is bouncing up and down. We saw Carlos Manarelli go clear, take away a stage win. He's going to make this 2 wins from 2 in the climbs competition here today. But really interesting the way it's played out for him. He's still working his way up. He's in 21st place, 1 minute and 1 down on the overall leader, Yu Lin. But Yu Lin, at the moment, last time we saw, he was out of the back of the main group. He had lost the lead overall. Behind him, Corrales is in there. Now, Corrales sits in 8th place. Corrales was only 5 seconds down on the lead, and that tells you that he was about 50 plus seconds up on Manarelli. Manarelli is pushing for the line. Corrales could be going into yellow here. Behind him is Bakken, who was behind him in the overall standings. Montoya was also battling around the position of Corrales, but was just in front of him by fractions of a second. The competition in category 3 in the GC is all down to who's got something left in these final few 100 meters.
Well, I tell you, Fabio Hjulhorst is doing a great job as well, because he's currently sat top 5 and he's 5th on the road at the moment. And Matthias Kalman had pulled himself up into the top 10 yesterday, and he's going on a better ride today. So there's a number of riders out in category 3 that are going to really move themselves up on GC, and it's going to shake it all up out there today. In category 4, well, they're at the 54-kilometer marker, and X100, Milostic and Guerra. Oh, look at
dangerous
it out
breakaway
there at the moment.
Yeah, dangerous breakaway down the road in category 2. Top of your screens, category 2. Bottom of your screens, category 3. Category 1. No, we'll wait to bring you those images because it's all action here in category 2 and 3. Category 3, nearer to the line at the moment. Manarelli goes under the 300 meters to go board, which is the archway to say he gets maximum points in the climbs competition. He's leading in that. He's going to extend his lead, but for him, that is minor. He needs to keep pushing. Don't be backing off. What you doing, mate? This is potentially for the overall. You've got to use the terrain that suits you. He's done it before, but time is going to count. Every second counts here. Corrales is coming, and Corrales could be going into yellow, but Manarelli will be rocketing up the standings once again. Carlos Manarelli, well, yesterday he took 12 places on GC by taking that stage win. He's going to take some more here today. Carlos Manarelli comes through to take away the win on stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships in category 3. How much has he put into everybody else? Corrales has
short gap on him, and he get caught
himself. So
by those
has
behind
Bakken.
us.
They're going to come to the line. Who's going to get second and third here? This is a big. In fact, it's going to be our category of 4 rider coming over the line. Our Masters leader here. So Corrales goes through. Where's Bakken? 25 seconds down. The gap between them was minimal starting off. Corrales is in yellow, maybe. We're going to have to let more finishers come across the line to get that confirmed.
Well, we go back in with
the last big bump as well now.
X100 and Nathan.
About 1.6 Kayla.
Riders now clear. They're 14 seconds clear of a 3-rider group, SS, Zillard and Nitko. So category 3 now all in pieces back down there on the mountainside, and 3 riders who are contending for GC all together. Peter Milostic, we said he was on form when he went up 30 place on GC the
Here we go, moving up towards the top of the climb here in category 2. Peter Milostic, Nathan Guerra, Mr. X100, our leading trio of riders, 20 seconds clear at the 56.8k. They're about to get to 1 kilometer to go. Remember, as we came in to this stage previously, we had seen a real battle unfold between these riders. Mr. X100 was leading in the overall. Nathan Guerra was in third, and we had seen big pushes from Peter Milostic. Milostic was in 8th place with a big lead and a big move when he took that win, moving up 30 places on stage 2 as he took that stage win. They are the 3 riders in front. Losing out at the moment, Mayer, Damsgaard, Betty, Nitko, and Stewart, all losing ground to Milostic at the moment. This is a really important moment in this race. Keep your eyes peeled for what's happening behind our leading trio and which of our leading trio can take victory away today.
Yeah, it's around 150, 180 meters. The gap at the moment, it's 17 seconds as Zillard, SS, Nitko, Gorjank, Miller is a little bit further back as well. But the riders pushing on here. Peter Milostic versus X100 versus Nathan Guerra. They've got 600 meters of this race left. They're going to go underneath the polka dot banner. I'm not sure they're interested in who picks up the climbing points today out there. They're interested in who goes over the line first and what the time gaps are, because Nathan Guerra, Peter Milostic comes to the front of the pack now, starts to lift the pace, starts to tap the rhythm. They're going to go underneath that polka dot banner, and Guerra now starts to push. He wants to ensure the pace stays high. Milostic and Guerra on the front. They need to tap a rhythm now. They need to keep the pressure down because they need those seconds and the gap to the group behind.
Timing is everything. This is going to be key. Nathan Guerra's wanting the stage win. He's kicked on at the right time. Big kick from Guerra, 11 watts per kilo, still holding 10. Coming into the left-hand turn, Nathan Guerra has been searching for the stage win. He's been top 3 today. It's top step on the podium for Nathan Guerra. He takes the win on the mountain judges stage on the big climbs in Colombia. He comes in ahead of Peter Milostic, who will take second. And Mr. X100, the leader overall, will take third. The gap between Guerra and X100 was 19 seconds coming in. It's not 19 seconds on the line, it's only 9. As behind them, SS comes through, immediately chasing in. Behind him is David, Nitko, Gorjank, and Yuki come through, sandwiched in between those groups of 3. Nitko van der Ziad goes through in behind. So it is Guerra, Milostic, X100, Ziad, SS, and Nitko, your top 6, and they are the only riders over the line at the moment in category 2.
Well, all I can tell you is category 2 is going to go to the wire because Nathan Guerra has just closed the gap down to 10 seconds on X100. Milostic has just ridden himself into a bronze medal position, 39 seconds back off the lead. Nitko still only at 42 seconds. So it is still close out there with 2 more stages to go.
And Guerra halved the gap.
Yep.
In hundreds of meters there, and that is why it's so difficult on these climbing stages. You can lose so much time so quickly. At the moment, Lyndon Milostic just having to make up ground. It's not all that long ago he was on the front of this group. He now comes back into the fall behind.
Shut the door. We're going to see a sprint in category 1 here for the finish on the mountain stage in Colombia. 1,669 meters of climbing, and it is coming down to this final kilometer. Dont, Fryer, Van Elst, Jones, Osborne, Skierski, Milostic, 7 riders in this leading group.
Now we know that Jason Osborne can sprint. We saw him do that. And we've seen him do that on some of our sprint stages. But we also know that Jones is great off the back of a big effort sprinting as well. We've seen Jones do the same. We've got Fryer in here, a man whose sprint can never be overestimated. I think many people underestimate Neil Fryer as a rider. when he is incredible. He's one of those riders who, when he has got that line in sight, he really has got the power to make it count. The 700 meters to go. Remember, the polka dot banner that we're going to see Osborne undoubtedly go for is at 300 meters. But will this be the first of the mountain banners that Osborne chooses not to think about, not to push for? Going to be coming up onto it soon. And if Osborne doesn't go for that, then is this a sign of weakness in our overall GC leader? He has not used the mountain stage. If you are the dominant rider and you do not dominate, are you then starting to put yourself in a position where the challengers can challenge?
17 watts per kilo from Osborne right there for the banner. He's going to take the banner and he's going to keep on going.
So here we go. This is the move. Osborne has gone. They must have been waiting for it. They knew that we were coming in towards the banner. It's 300 meters. Now 250 meters. Van Els and Jones are going for Osborne here. Osborne has got the front. Jones is running on towards his wheel. He's going to pick up the drop before he gets to the line, or is he? Osborne is pushing again. Jones is coming for him. Osborne's going to take it by a whisker. Where he goes over the line, there's nothing to separate the bikes. It is literally bike by bike by bike. Osborne, Jones, Van Els hit the line. Oh my goodness me. That was not what we were expecting. If Osborne has taken that, he is a man who is absolutely playing this to the shades, to the edges.
Look at
because
that.
0.281 from Jones to Osborne and Van Els within a second. Nobody, I defy you to find anybody who genuinely came into today and they thought that Osborne would be forced to sprint for every 10th of a second to the line and only take it by 0.281. Nobody thought that.
No, I don't think anybody did think that, but I tell you something, he's just proved that he can win it in a sprint as well as win it on a climb. And I tell you something else, the time gap going in with Jason Osborne's lead today, 48 seconds over Ollie Jones, is still intact. He's still got 48 seconds over Ollie Jones. Ollie Jones is putting in some great racing. So are the others. Stefan Van Elster, Ruben Dont, Pavel Skierski, Neil Fry, Lyndon Milostic, Dan Turek. Great racing out there today. The GC is shaken up a bit. People are moving around, but Jason Osborne and Ollie Jones still just showing they are 1 and 2, whatever you say.
Oh, yeah, very much so. I couldn't agree more. I mean, what a day of racing we've had here on the slopes of California. Of Colombia. I'm absolutely blown away. I can't think straight after those finishes. My mind is blown by Jason Osborne not going on I told you my two scenarios. And I mean, they were an hour out and at the space of the very climbs. None of them, not in my wildest dreams, not in my nightmares, did I think we'd ever see Jason Osborne in the group and having to make the climb attack be his final sprint. I mean, coming into the end, I thought maybe, well, that's what he's got to do. But, you know, you just, until it happened, you just think, is this for real? And it was. Osborne coming in there. I mean, that was tight. And it wasn't tight in all those race categories, but all the GCs have been shaken apart from category 1.
Well, yes, there is a lot of moving around going on out there, and that is really, really exciting. But like you say, I mean, who thought it would finish with a 7-up sprint in category 1 today on top of the mountains in Colombia? I bet Jason Osborne didn't think that either.
Well, we may well find out because we're going to be asking him in an interview a little bit later on for the podcast. Now, Emil Ivanov taking away the win. That was a sprint run. I called it as Montoya on the line with Ivanov closing quick, and he actually closed over the line. And at the line, it was 0.233 of a second. Emil Ivanov, the mountains leader, and surely now mountains win. It's very difficult to displace. Taking away top spot. Michael Rademacher showing just why he was holding back because he came over the line with quick strum right in there as well. What a stage finish.
Yeah, Jonathan Fager doing a good job, you know, of holding 1 minute 15 today. You know, at one point, quite a way off of the the front of that race, he looked as though it really was a seriously bad day at the office. He salvaged something from that, you know, with that 1:15 gap. So great work from him out there. But Michael Rademacher, the defending champion from 2025, really now showing his hand.
Yeah, he's up into second with Quickstrom leading. So Quickstrom takes away the race lead at the moment. We'll see whether or not he can hold on to that when we hit our time trial. Let's move to category 5, where we got Francisco Barria taking away the stage win. And this really was about the stage win. There was movement behind in some of the positions, but realistically, this was a case of people holding positions in the overall, really kind of the exception to the rule. Barrier, though, great stage win by him. He's going to be really pleased with that.
Well, yeah, I agree with that completely. Lucas Petter wishing he was there, and he was there or thereabouts, which was just enough to hold him in that top spot for tomorrow. Penn's in the mix, Spratt in the mix, Kendall in the mix. So all the protagonists on GC are still there.
Day of confusion for Matt, because I'm now confused when we go into the time trial of who we're thinking about here, because we didn't see the only person. 2 people have moved inside the top 10 overall. Arcilla and Dunst, 9th and 10th place, and both moved up 1 place. That's it.
I know.
It's like what was biggest mountain day, and we didn't see changes. Really, really unusual. Let's move from category 5 to category 4. This is our next category as we move up the standings. Now, Niall Batty today showed that when it comes to the big climbs, we've seen him do this on the endurance climb on the Sunday Race Club. Today, he did the same thing. He didn't go on the first one. He took the points. He went back. But then after the second, we saw him take 34 seconds at the top of the climb, 45 seconds on the sprint between climb 2 and 3. And then by the top of the climb and by the finish, he'd opened up 1 minute and 8 on everybody else. If the stage racing was just made up of big climbs that never go downhill, Niall Batty would take the win, no problems at all.
The GC competition behind was all about Aidan Sinclair and Panu Alalusa and how much of a gap they had between them. Well, it came down to 2 seconds. The gap between them and first place really was immaterial because of the GC competition, and Sinclair just rode away in those last few hundred meters from Panu Alalusa to establish the additional 2 seconds on GC. It puts them separated by 6 seconds on GC. Dominique Berghain, 23 seconds back, having a brilliant ride. Matteo Pino, 33 seconds back, but the one that matters at the moment is the 6 seconds between Alalusa and Sinclair.
Yeah, brilliant riding in the category 4 race. Category 3 on your screens now, where Carlos Manarelli took another race victory here today. Really interesting the way that this has played out, because he was a long, long way down in overall. He has moved up today 18 places in the overall race category to 3rd due to that victory today. The man who's profited the most, I think, in terms of taking away jerseys, though, is Mateo Corrales, who takes the overall lead now. He's moved into number 1 spot.
Yes.
And Rune Bakken as well, moving up into 2nd place. Big jumps everywhere in the categories, as a lot of the top riders, Shakila moving down along with Yu Yunlin, the former leader.
Yeah, Mathias Kalman moving up, though, to 6th now on GC as well. So he has been slowly moving up over the last few days and positioning him well for the stages after the rest day.
Indeed, and remember, it is that time trial where all the riders automatically get given the same bike, the time trial bike for that, the new Colnago bike. And, of course, they're going to be given a penalty because there's no dross on the way through. So maybe that's what our mountain is judged. It judged Nathan Guerra the fastest in the finish of the 3 breakaway riders, Guerra, Milostic and X100, who came across the line in that order, clear at the front of the race. Coming into today, this X100 had a gap coming in today. That gap is coming out today. Sorry, the gap has been almost halved now. Peter Milostic into 3rd position, moving up 5 places. Yes. And it shows you just how tough it is out there right now.
Yeah, it is indeed. And, you know, a number of riders moving up, a number of riders moving down, but still close at the top. X100 and Guerra 10 seconds separation, and Milostic 39 seconds back, Nitko 42 seconds back. I think it's all going to be to play for on that time trial when we hit the slopes of Montreal.
Yeah, definitely. And Tev Skorjak had a bad day yesterday, having a good day today, almost reversing the deficit he had at the time. Let's move on to category 1. More confusion for Matt here, as we see very few changes. In fact, no changes in the top 4 overall, as we see our top 4 overall be the top 4 on the race. They basically all held position at the top of that stage. Jason Osborne, though, pushed to the line in that sprint to the finish here. And I am wondering how much energy conservation we're seeing from the multi-time world champion. Are we seeing him being super smart and being really thinking, I need to go into that time trial with all my reserves? I'm happy with my lead at the moment because he hasn't changed it.
Well, can I also say, great to see Hayden Pucker in the top 10 after that massive effort out there. And he was the rider that went up the road for the final Bosses team. Osborne came onto his wheel. It eventually came all back together again. But Pucker staying in the mix for 10th place today. Great ride from him. Kaminsky, Turek, Fryman, Lustig, Skierski, Don, Van Els, Jones and Osborne. It was a dream race out there for viewers. I'm not sure it was a dream race out there for all of those riders.
No, definitely not. I think that I've just been, I was scrutinising all of the categories as we were sort of working our way through them a little bit further down, and there's some big changes. I mean, we've seen riders going up and down 20, 30 places on the GC because of how good or bad a day they've had today and yesterday. And that shows just how instrumental these mountains are. Have a bad day, you can be in trouble. But it's all changed soon.
Do you know what? Cat 1, top 5 separated by 1 minute 22 seconds, and the mountains are gone. They're finished.
They are. I think we need to recluse the judge and maybe get a new one because he only judged half of our categories here today, or she judged half of our categories here today. They didn't do the best of judge, so the mountain judge. Some people it's acquitted, some people it's found guilty. But we'll see when we go into our time trial who is paying the price and who is still suffering the sentence that's been handed down by the efforts today. Tomorrow it's a rest day for those people just riding the championship. It's not a rest day for everybody by any stretch of the imagination. Some of our riders are going to be racing into Sunday Rest Stop, which is coming your direction tomorrow instead of the rest day. The podcast, just to let you know, is likely to be tomorrow rather than tonight. We're going to catch up with Jason Osborne. We've already caught up. Haley's been talking with Kate. I've never done a time trial, but we will be bringing that out tomorrow because Emma and I are going to be talking about mountain biking in a couple of hours' time. But it does mean that that's something to listen to on your rest day or your day on Sunday Race. We'll be back bringing you the action. And that then leads into the time trial. I cannot wait for the time trial.
Well, there were some riders had a dropout. It was very unfortunate.
What was his name? For me, the time trial
guy that
is
was,
really
was
the
right
instrumental
up in the,
stage that is left now for us, because when you look at the profile and you look at the
right
racing on the
really bad for
final
the
day,
dropout.
it is pretty flat
it's like
out there,
having
and
a
it's all
puncher
about
or
the
a
sprinters
mechanical
and
or
the
a
climbers
crash,
competition finishing
it's
off.
still stuck.
So the time trial, the
Really
rules
does
change
suck,
in
that
terms
does.
of the sprint and the climbing competition because it becomes first fastest through the segment, not first across the line. There's a bit of a switch around, and you can get your math around that after 5 hours on air. Clever people. But there is a switch around out there, and it is going to add a little bit of difference to that sprint competition, and whether those people with the maximum number of points stay on top, we will see.
Yeah, I'm not even going to. I'm just going to say it is FTS, not FAL.
Going in and out,
basically. Let's do it in acronyms. It is going to be very instrumental in that those competitions. The change in that structure. There is no drafting coming into play. All the riders will start at the same time, but they can't draft. They may be going to take inspiration from the fact they can see their competition, but they're not going to be able to get any physical advantage on the way through. It really will shift up and change how the racing plays out. I'd love you to be watching that with us, Emma Martin and myself, Matt Payne. We'll be putting words to the action. Please do get in touch. Tell us your thoughts on today's racing. You can't have too many messages in Emma's inbox. It is at Viking_. Emma, mine is at Matt Fix Payne. You can bombard mine as well. You already are. Thank you, everybody who's been in touch with us and everybody who's tagged in MyWhoosh, at MyWhoosh on social media, with all of your great images from pain caves to watch parties to you name it. We've seen all sorts out there. Just keep those images coming. It's great to see. Please do share, like, follow MyWhoosh, the at MyWhoosh podcast, which is Inside the Race, and the show here. So make sure you subscribe to MyWhoosh on YouTube and to Twitch TV.
I don't know how much I drank, probably 3.5 liters.
call, I think, today a day of judgment for some, a day of judgment postponed until we return after the rest day for others. I hope you've enjoyed the racing as much as we have. It's time for us to head off to use the honey and lemon and maybe the odd ice pack or ice block as well before we go into the next stage. It's going to be the time trial. We hope to see you there. Thank you so much for watching the MyWhoosh Championship so far for 2026. Rest day beckons until we get to the other side of the rest day. From Emma, myself, and from all of the team at MyWhoosh, enjoy your riding. Enjoy watching back the action. We'll see you soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you in a bit.
4.4 watts a kilo for 2 hours. Ain't bad, is it? I'm going to do a cool down on Zwift. I've got to do a cool down. I didn't do one yesterday. Ripped me off for the afternoon. That's fine. Yeah. It's mad because I don't know what the nominal power was. I have to look at Zwift on that. There's salt everywhere. I'll stop taking the stuff. Now I've stopped on, my legs won't work. I just can't match the acceleration. I just had a message off of some people saying like, you know, that's a nice message. Yeah, I just had a message come through off of a guy just saying that he'd never done a Zwift race that hard, as hard as these last 5. And I think I have done hard Zwift races, but usually they're like 35 minutes, 40 minutes. You know, you can, it's mad because you can go onto the Zwift and like, you do get those micro rests when you get in the draft. Like, even if you fall off the back, you can surge up and then stop pedaling and just roll in. You can't do that. So all the powers are the same. The feeling is different. That's the hardest thing to describe. It's like I say, it's like cycling on stand or cycling into a headwind. That's the way I explain it. But it keeps you sharp. Keeps you sharp. I've done some very difficult Zwift races where I did the 4 horsemen before, so you go up the Epic, the Volcano, the Zwift KOM, and the Alp. And I think we even finished on the jungle climb as well, on that particular one. And that was hard, but then you're only racing against maybe 3 of these guys, and they don't have the incentive to go off on their own, so they just sit in the pack with you, and then halfway up the hill, they'll attack, and you know, never from the bottom, is it? Or, you know. Yeah, but I looked at the numbers for that last Zwift race and compared them to these last few, and they were the same, and that was just, it's a different type of hard, because I thought the same thing, but that last Zwift race was like a couple of 1-minute surges with a lot of drafting, and then a 5-minute effort at the end. It was 53 minutes, I think. I can't remember what the average was. Let me have a look, because it intrigued me as to why I find this so much harder. In fact, it always fascinates me. I love the numbers, but I don't get how 2 games can make it different. I just think they have a different way of using the brake on your machine as well. It's a different profile or something. I really do find it fascinating. And I spend so much time on the trainer. You notice all these little differences. But that Zwift race, right, Richmond, my 20-minute power was 307 watts. Yesterday, it was 20 minutes was 314. I've done 302, 334. You know, the 5-minute power in Richmond was 363. And they were all about the same. The only difference was the 15-second power, which that would make sense because of that 23rd Street was about a 23-second sprint. But when we look at the length, these are all like an hour and 40 minutes, 2 hours today. So you're having to hold them sort of numbers for a lot longer. There's no give. So yeah, the Zwift races are just more intense. So it's a different type of hard. Very rarely do we get. And I did an epic race the other week. Sadly, I didn't record that on a dual record, but I do have the numbers on Zwift Power. On a bit lighter, epic race. Let's look at just the raw watts. 20 minutes, 292. You know, it wasn't 341 for 5 minutes. It was an hour and a half, 4 watts per kilo average, whereas today was 4.4 average at a heavier weight. Well, it was only like a kilo heavier, but it's still heavier. More climbing. If I just do 15 minutes of nice, like cocoa or something. Probably won't. Probably when you stop, you get nothing left in your legs. It's almost embarrassing. How far have you done on your SL9 now? How many kilometers have you got left? Oh, nice. I have no idea how many I've got. I haven't done much Zwift this week of those championships. I'm in no rush though. I'm getting some water back down there. We got 1 litre, 2 litre, 2.5 litre, one of them, maybe 3 litres. Because I had one of them before, 4 litres. 4 litres of water in 3 hours. And I'm still 1.5 kilograms lighter than when I started. That's crazy. Nearly just go all day though. Two stages left. That'll do. Alright, mate. An ice lolly. I've got a cold bath already upstairs. And you're gonna jump into that to lower my core temperature. It's not ice cold, but well, warm, but it had warmed up a little bit in the last 3 hours. I'm going to roll down this little hill and then I'm going to go and log out. That's me done.